All right, welcome back to Tacos Truck Week 7 edition. I am host David Molly with co-host Joe Stevenson and special guest Mark Sanderson.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Welcome. We'll just start it off quick with league news. I just want to put it out there so everyone knows. I know it's still almost over a month away. But the trade deadline for the league is November 27th. So I want people to be aware of that. I know trades have been going off for
They're hot,
the last
baby.
week.
They're
hot. And that is at 2 a.m. Central Time. Not that anyone's going to be making any crazy fucking moves right at the end, but just in case, because I know we work shifts. So
the one magic happens.
Yeah, that's when the magic happens, baby.
The magic hour.
I do want to say, yeah, especially at work, I feel like that's where all the flow be happening. That's where
them night shifts.
Dude, the night shifts, yeah, bro.
You got to catch these guys at 3 a.m. when
shit is popping off. Like, bro, trust me, it's a good trade.
It makes sense.
It makes
I've had
sense
2 hours of sleep
when you've been sitting at this board for 10 hours, tired as fuck.
Trust me.
I did mention this before on the Facebook, but I want to mention it again, and hopefully I feel like the majority, if not everyone, watches these podcasts. So I want to put it out there again to vote to remove the trade veto. If some people, they don't know the entirety of the rules for the league, and I just want to let people know that even though we're a 12-man league, if you get 4 negative veto, or you get, I guess a veto is negative, but if you get 4 vetoes for a trade, even though it's only 4, it nullifies that trade. But with that, no one votes on these things, and it takes 2 to 3 days to get a trade through. So I personally am just suggesting to remove the trades, or the trade veto. So we'll discuss that.
Yeah. I'll just add a little bit on that, but we've never vetoed one trade as a group in this league.
Never.
I think that we all just kind of agree, and we've all just said it, that, hey, somebody values this guy different, and it might look lopsided, it might not feel right, but as long as you're not blatantly unloading a roster, we let it go through, because some people need something different, and you still have the power to stop something drastic, So, I mean, as a league, we can just say, hey, this is crazy. This isn't going to happen. You need to go back and reverse this, commish, whatever. But for the most part, yeah, I think I saw a couple of us vote on it. And I think everyone's just saying, wave the damn thing.
Yeah.
If we waived it, I could move Nick Chubb again this week by the time I get him. That'd be great.
But I do want
that's what I'm saying. So on that point, I asked, like, if we don't veto, what happens? They go through instantly. Well, that needs to happen. Was it 3 days? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sean and I straightened either that going into that week, and it didn't happen till like Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So
I'm handcuffed with that then.
Yeah. So say someone gets a waiver wire, you're basically trading for someone's waiver wire pick or whatever. That doesn't happen till Wednesday. We're busy, so it's not going to go. You're not going to make the trade and accept it till later on Wednesday. You're not going to get it till Friday night. So Friday night, Saturday day, depending on when you do it. I mean, I know that's before Sunday, but what happens if that player is playing on Thursday? You would have never got that player.
Yep.
So what happens? Just what Joe said. What happens if you want to trade that player again? Maybe you had a second plan backed up. So it just, in my opinion, it needs to go away. And I think in this league's respectable enough that if somebody is unloading something, or it's just truly, you can just tell, like, hey, this person's tanking and they're just unloading this.
Yeah.
We can get together. And this league will get together and say something, and you can go back.
Definitely, this league will get together. But and I do want to reinforce what Joe said. Basically, is if that is the case, I can change it. Like, I mean, I know that you guys know this as like the commissioner, but fuck, I can change people's lineups right before the games if I wanted to. Like, I can do anything up in this motherfucker. So if that's the case, we'll make it.
Do whatever you like.
We'll fix it up. So and then the last thing I have for league news, which everyone, scours the fucking internet to make sure, moves, who's doing this, starting, blah, 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 because that's how our league does it. I do just want to bring this up, bring this back real quick.
It's like, come on, man. Fitzpatrick, bro. Like, you guys were like down and out, right? Miami's in the cellar. We finally get a chance to see Tua, hopefully, right? Like, hey, we're gonna see Tua. And then Fitzy goes for like 350 and 3 touchdowns and stomps the Niners. Now we ain't gonna see Tua for like 2 or 3 more weeks, depending on what happens. So come on, Fitz, you've had your turn. I mean, you're great. I love the guy, but it's time to see some Tua,
And that it is. It's
early,
Tua
baby.
time. It's gonna be 3 weeks later, as Joe said, 2 or 3 weeks later, and the only reason is because of the bye. I was interested to see that their coach said that this was the plan the whole time. It didn't matter if they're undefeated. It didn't matter if they were 0-6. They were playing Tua after the bye. So
yes, I heard the same thing.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, everybody heard that, but Fitzy. So
yeah. Well, and the other thing
he was sad.
Yeah, they did say that their bye week was like originally slated for week 12, and it got moved up. So they stuck. They stuck with their plan no matter what. It was bye week and then go, and it's probably because it gave him an off week to take over first rep snaps, and do his thing. But I do feel horrible for Fitz though. The guy was playing really, really good. He's number 7 QB. He's number 7 QBR in the league.
Did you see his interview?
Oh, dude, yeah. It's horrible. Somebody text me.
You have to sit in the locker room and listen to your replacement get fucking told what to do.
Yeah, bro. Somebody texted me and said something like, what the hell did it say? Something about he's full of it with the $71 million in contracts that he's had. He's wiping his tears away with hundreds. So, he's made some money throughout his career, but still, I don't think for Fitzy it's about the money. I think it was about finally owning the team.
Yeah. So I actually seen this thing today about the immeasurable contribution that certain players have had towards their team, and the 2 players listed were Fitzpatrick's and McCown, and they're basically talking about how those guys, they have played in I think McCown's played for 16 teams and Patrick played for 17 or 18 or some bullshit.
Crazy. Yeah.
And that this doesn't get counted to anything. It's not a stat, but these guys have contributed and mentored the quarterbacks that we love today. You know what I mean?
Lots of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
And this specific thing said that they think that those guys should be in the Hall of Fame for
yeah, league contribution. Yeah.
For that. Yeah. Not for stats, but and they said even if you want to make it a different thing, a different measure, you don't want to put them in that specific Hall of Fame, but they need to be recognized for something. And it's actually pretty crazy. And I am glad that those guys are looked at like that, because I've always respected those guys, especially for bouncing in and out of the league numerous times. So
well, and the things that you don't see either is when they're not starting and they're just on a roster, how probably important they are to a young quarterback. Because I said it back when Dak, it was Dak's rookie year, and we had Mark Sanchez. Tony Romo wasn't going to coach Dak. I mean, why are you going to teach him to take over your spot? But we had Mark Sanchez on the sideline, and every time he'd come out the field, I mean, it was Mark Sanchez doing the studying, doing the talking, doing the preaching. And I'm sure Fitzy and McCown have been in those situations a lot throughout their career, where they're just taking a guy underneath their wing and teaching him everything. So,
yeah,
big kudos there. That's pretty cool.
All right. Do you guys have any more league news? Anything interesting on that front?
Nope. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to blow my nose, but I was going to say league injury wise, there's some guys that were expected back this week. I won't get into too much detail. I just kind of glanced over it because it affects my team as well. But sounds like McCaffrey is probably not coming back. Right. Michael Thomas has now gotten a hamstring injury, so he might not be coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some guys just keep an eye out. I know we'll talk about it on our matchups, but some guys got them in their lineup. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, there are a couple. They're going through the matchups. I noticed that there's a lot of players with designations right now, questionable and whatnot. So,
well, Dallas Goedert's supposed to come back. Now they pushed it all the way to week 10. And if there was a time that he needed to come back, it's now.
Yeah. So they're gonna have motherfucking Richard Rodgers. What's up, ex-Packer? Let's go.
I mean, Ertz is out and playing like dog shit anyway. But yeah, he was week 7. He's timeline coming back. They come out today and said, yeah, week 10 maybe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Goddard, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Mark. Though I wish you wouldn't have said that because I was holding out on him for. I didn't think people were gonna notice, which I guarantee you they weren't.
There's another one.
Literally, the only 2 people I worry about with shit like that are the people on this fucking podcast right now, and you have to blurt that out. God damn it, Mark. No, I'm just.
Well, there's another one. There's another one that's got him on his radar.
I needed a tight end this week. I'm monitoring that. Not that
yeah, but that's a wide receiver, Joseph.
Oh no. There's somebody else that's got Goddard on his radar. He's my protege, my silo protege.
Oh, okay. Well, that's because you talked to him all the
time.
No,
he did it all on his own. He did.
Joe's second fantasy team.
Okay. Oh, stop. Yeah, it is. He's gonna win one way or another. All right, we'll move on to.
There's a couple other. So what about Des Bryant?
Yes, signing the practice squad.
Yeah,
good for him.
X is back.
Yeah, good for him. And that'd be a big addition to Baltimore if they can find a spot to get him in that offense. They don't have anybody like that.
Yeah, no, they don't. And was it 2 more weeks? Antonio Brown, he can play.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks, but they said the NFL can actually extend his suspension.
Yeah. I would have thought they would have. I would have thought they would have extended it by now. Not wait till he gets signed and then say, "Oh yeah, he's."
But that's what they did last time. Remember, he was out for what was it 4? Or no, I'm sorry, that was Zeke. But remember, he was out for 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it was, and then when he was able to come back, they extended for like 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
So they just trying to do people dirty like that. But it is interesting. The number one prospect right now is the Seattle Seahawks. Imagine that lineup. You have to line across. I would not want to be a cornerback playing against that fucking team.
No.
Okay. We'll move into the newly added guest segment. Mark's segment this week is waiver wire wins. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, let me pull mine up.
Yeah, so basically we're going over week 6 and this week waiver wire, like who did good, who's projected to do good.
Yeah, I'm looking at, so unfortunately I don't win a lot. So one of the greatest feelings is when you hit a waiver wire pick. Whether it's for one game or that whole season. I mean, you pick them guys up that win you that one game, or you pick that guy up that, the rest of the season he just goes off. So I like to look at the waiver wire and just everybody's picks and watch like who makes good waiver wire picks all the time. So I was looking at last week's, waiver wire. Who won it for like the long term? Who won it for that week? And what was a bust? So I'll just fire it off here. Obviously a bust, even though it wasn't my waiver wire pick, was Alexander Madison. I mean, I put my stock in that and knowing he was only going to play 1 week, but I got to win and I got to win now. And that was a huge bust. I would have never thought Atlanta's D would tee up on him like that and the game would have gone that way, but it is what it is. Otherwise, I think the winner of that week, even though JR technically only needed him for 1 week, Ryan Tannehill. So Ryan Tannehill was rated up there for me when the draft was. I really struggled between Tannehill and Roethlisberger. Tannehill at the end of the year last year was just on fire. I thought he was going to continue that, and he pretty much has. Now JR is sitting there with Tannehill and tons and tons of trade bait, especially as we go into this bye weeks. So he's got Russell Wilson. I mean, you can keep him for an injury, but I think that's the waiver wire win of the week for last week is JR with Tannehill.
Yeah, just for what it could turn into. Like you said, he could trade him off. You know, I mean,
Ah,
there's no way I would cut somebody like that. I mean, I'd be looking to wheel and deal, but I just got a couple. So I went a little bit on the smaller scale. I know we had some really big wins out there, but a couple that I really liked for the week. I did like the Tyler Boyd side of that trade. He just missed projection, but he's got 12.9. And if you look at Boyd, he's been solid pretty much all year, running around his projection. So I think that's a good win for Sean. I really like the Giants D. I picked up the Giants D, well, because I had Tampa Bay. And of course, you know, my gut's telling me do not play him against Green Bay, which I wish I would have. But still, Giants D stepped up and they put up a 13-pointer last week. So that helped me out quite a bit. And I did like Kirk Cousins actually panned out. We'll talk about Kirk later, but I mean, you know, he was disastrous in the first half.
He went negative 3 times.
Yeah, negative 3.
Yep. Ended up with a big fat 29 though. So pretty decent, you know, showing, even though he was struggling really bad. On the loss side, I did not like the Mattinson. He only put up 4 points. And then poor Marshall was out there trying to make moves because his team was on a bye week. And Hardman got him a goose egg, and Jamal Williams got him 3.4. So those are my losses on the week for those.
Yeah, for me, for last week, I really like kind of what Mark was saying going forward. I really like the DJ Moore pickup moving forward. I really like the Travis Fulgham pickup moving forward, especially with a team like with Tom's. I feel like he needed an upgrade at wide receiver, and to take a chance on Fulgham, I think that it was high value. And then obviously, I was excited about the Claypool pickup. He's going into this season. He's one of my favorite players. You can ask Mark. I talked about him a lot. So I didn't think he was going to blow up this quick, and nor did I think that he was going to get put on the radar that quick either. So Mark and I had been bullshitting like every week basically about Claypool and when we were going to pull the trigger, and I had to pull it then. But just a few people that didn't get picked up that were on the waiver wire that did pretty well. Christian Kirk, he had 22.6 points. He only had 2 targets, but 2 touchdowns. He only seen 11% target share. Then Humphreys, he had 18.4. He had 6 targets, which was 15% target share. And then in the absence of Deontay Johnson, James Washington had 16.8. He led the team in targets, 7 targets, 32% target share, and he ran 93% route run. So those are a couple people that you may want to look at. I'm not sure. I was never high on Christian Kirk. I still am not high on Christian Kirk. He just happened to have 2 catches.
Dallas.
Yeah, and so he had two catches, 2 touchdowns, and average 47 yards or whatever per catch. So obviously that's not going to happen again. But
can we talk about the biggest guy that was out there last week that nobody had?
Who's that?
Matty Ice went for 38.8.
Yes,
monster.
Yeah, that was so honestly, so I was same thing as this week for last week. So everyone knows, obviously, I lost Dak. So now I'm basically streaming quarterbacks, and I was picking between Kirk Cousins and Matty Ice. They obviously played each other. The only reason I picked Kirk Cousins was because I thought Atlanta's defense was going to be worse off. So obviously I picked wrong there. I still would have lost anyway, so it is what it is. But this week I did the same thing, Wentz or Matt Ryan, and I went the Wentz route, so I'll probably be wrong there too. But just a couple more to get your opinion. These are waiver wires like available going into week 7. I just want you guys' opinions. How do you guys feel about? And a few of these have already been picked up. How do you feel about Jerick McKinnon going into this week?
I think it's a little different from when he played now. I mean, Debo's back; they're a little healthier. I don't know. I don't think he sees it as much upside as he did earlier. I mean, he's still there. He's still going to get the touches. They're still going to dump the ball off to him, but I think he sees a little bit more split time and a little bit less targets.
Yeah. You think Jeff Wilson's going to eat into that, or?
Yeah, I think Jeff Wilson's going to take a part of it. I think the Debo coming back is going to take a part of it. They're starting to find ways to get the wide receivers involved and hand them off the ball. I mean, more and more. So, yeah, I think it's a good pickup for where you're sitting at. And, who knows how long Moster's out, but it's a good pickup. But I don't think he puts up the points he was earlier when Moster was out.
Yeah, that was my thoughts exactly too. So if you looked at Jimmy G's bounce back game, I watched a little bit of that game. The offense they were calling for him seemed to be a lot more like a year ago when he was kind of on fire. And like I said, probably because they have their weapons back now. Things are looking a little bit better down there, and they're starting to get the passing game rolling. And I just think that for McKinnon, he's going to be a decent little filler, but he's going to probably, like I said, lose touches because now Jimmy G's playing good. Kittle's playing good. Debo's back. I don't know. I mean, it's a decent pickup for a week. We'll see what happens. I understand why Sean grabbed him. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
But we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to go very far. It might get him a week or two.
All right. And then I was going to talk about the Killen Cole pickup, but you obviously picked him up, right? So you're obviously high on him, but not that it matters now because the decisions have already been made. But what do you think about this week, Wentz versus New York or Matt Ryan this week?
So the thing with Wentz, and I wish I had more time to read on this because I was listening to a different podcast yesterday. It was McAfee, and they were talking about Wentz on his Thursday night games, and I just missed part of the segment because I was coming back into the booth. Sorry, but and they said something about his Thursday was his numbers, I guess, are off the charts on Thursday night games. So maybe a little superstitious, plus the fact that he's playing the Giants. I'm kind of liking Carson Wentz this week. He's found something with some really questionable wide receivers, but he's finding some kind of chemistry there. And now no Ertz, so there's no need to force that direction. Now, granted, Sanders being out, I think is going to hurt, but that's going to help Wentz. So it's all on his shoulders this game. Sure. So we'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah, though actually the deciding factor for me for picking up Wentz this week was 3 out of the last 4 weeks he's been QB 12 or higher. So that was the reason I went that route. But
I like the Wentz pickup too, but I like the Cole pickup. I think he is going to continue to get targets, and I think he's going to perform.
And I think like in Dave's situation, if you would have picked up Matty Ice, I think that would have been more of a possibly like you're going to commit to a couple of weeks with Matty Ice. When I like the stream play better here. Go by matchup. Now granted, Matty Ice got a pretty good matchup too, but
well, we've discussed this before, Joe. You've been doing fantasy football with me for a long time. There's never been a season where I didn't stream a quarterback. I've always been a streamer for a quarterback and defense. It just happened the way it happened. Is I wasn't streaming a quarterback, nor was I streaming a defense. I'm playing the Ravens against everyone. I mean, other than this week, obviously they're on a bye, but so now I'm just going back to the old roots. I rather do it that way personally. But there's always going to be a streaming option out there. But all right, moving back into buy and sell. We had Matt Ryan at Minnesota, quarterback 11. Joe Bottom, I sold him. Kilo sold him. He's quarterback 2. Edwards Elaire, running back 8 against Buffalo, at Buffalo. Joe sold him, I bought him, and Kilo sold him. He was running back 5, so that was a hit. And Beckham versus Pittsburgh, wide receiver 10. He was wide receiver 68. So We all sold them, and we were all right by a long shot. That leaves Joe 2-1 for the week, David 2-1 for the week, Kilo 1-2 for the week. Overall, Joseph 4-5, David 6-3, Kilo 3-3, and Marshall 0-3.
Ouch.
Moving into this week, we'll start it off with a quarterback. Brady at Las Vegas, quarterback 6. What do you guys got?
So I'll start this one off. I'm selling, man. I even like look at last week. They came in and they demolished Green Bay. And look at Brady's numbers. They're not there. I mean, it's not his job anymore to go throw 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's going to be all about Rojo. It's all about defense, and it's all about not turning the ball over in this system. That's why they brought Tom Brady in over Jameis Winston. Listen, Jameis Winston threw 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Brady's going to get nowhere near that. But, well, touchdown-wise, he might be pretty damn close. But yardage-wise is not going to be anywhere near that. So I'm selling. This is kind of another one of those cases where I think I can just come up with 6 quarterbacks on my own to kind of outscore. And Vegas's defense is not that bad. So I'm going to sell Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm along those same lines. I'm definitely selling here. I can easily name 9 more that are going to get more points than him. He's with Rojo playing the way he is. He's going to keep hitting them holes. They're going to keep running the ball. I don't see that happening, putting him way up there. And I'm with Joe. The Raiders D is pretty stout against the pass. They're lacking one thing, and that's the one thing that would definitely put Tom Brady out of the top 15. That's a pass rush. I mean, you start to knock Tom Brady around, you might as well put him 15 or 20. Yep. But they're missing that pass rush. But I mean, they still have a good pass D. Look what they did against KC. So I mean, granted, it's early on in the year, things have changed. Tom Brady's getting in a little bit of a groove. Gronk's playing semi better because he had a touchdown. Come on.
Sure.
I mean, so I'm selling this all day long.
A little side note there too. Rojo is 3 straight games over 100 yards.
3 straight.
So that they're definitely finding a little groove with him as well. And I like it. Tom Brady's a sell for me, man. I can't go with it.
All right. I am I am the polar opposite. I am buying, and the reason being, if you look at Las Vegas is actually the ranked 31st defense and number 31 in coverage. They're also 26 in pressure. If you go by the quarterback rankings that they have allowed, week 1 was 18, 24, 27, week 4 was 5, and week 5 was 4. But if you look at the quarterbacks that they played those weeks, first week they played the Panthers. That's when Bridgewater wasn't playing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2, they played the Saints. That's when Drew Brees was not Drew Brees. And then week 3, he played Cam Newton. And Cam Newton that week had like 116 yards, 0 touchdowns. And that was the Burkhead game where he had 3 touchdowns. So they allowed bad quarterback, or well, for them, good quarterback rankings, but they played shitbags, and I don't think Brady's a shitbag.
Oh my goodness!
So
they played Breeze, Cam, Josh Allen, and Mahomes. Yikes! Shitbags. Holy
no. Hear me out. I said when Breeze wasn't Breeze.
Yeah, but still, there's some. I mean,
that was not Breeze, bro. You go back and watch that game and tell me that was Breeze. I would have covered him up, and you would have said that's not Breeze.
All right,
you would have said that was fucking.
So you're a buy on this TB.
Yes, I am.
All right. I think you're wishful thinking with Godwin. You're hoping that TB goes bananas and get you some points.
No, it has nothing to do with Godwin. I mean, yeah, I think Godwin's gonna have a big game, but it has absolutely nothing with that. Joe, you know me long enough. I'm not putting in any bias in this. I'm looking at the numbers. The Tampa Bay is number 8th in offense and number 3 passing offense in the league. Going against the number 31 defense, number 31 covers, and 26 pressure. I mean, statistically, don't put anything with it. Don't say that it's Brady. Don't say it's anyone.
Right.
You think that they're going to score. If I told you the number 3 or the number 8 offense, number 3 passing offense was going against number 31 defense, would you say that they're going to get good points? Yes.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. But with that said, I mean, Carolina was 28th pass defense back then, and Tom Brady got them for 10. Green Bay's pass defense, I'm not exactly sure where they ranked last week. He got 18 fantasy points. Tom Brady's had a 10-pointer, a 16-pointer, and an 18-pointer already this year. In 6 games, 3 of them are under 18 points.
Yeah, but you also have to remember all of his weapons have been gone. They're all back now.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. This one's actually my favorite. Henry versus Pittsburgh.
Oh man.
Running back 4.
This was my favorite one as well. What a time to throw in Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that I seen that one. I was like, I didn't even look anymore. I was like, yeah, that's I'm picking that one. That one's so fun.
And it's Pittsburgh. I mean, damn it.
That's why it's fun, bro.
This one, I'm selling.
Yeah.
So
okay.
The reason I'm gonna sell is Tannehill's play has been really, really well, which also comes off of the fact that they have Derrick Henry. They can do a lot of play action. But I think that Pittsburgh's pass rush is going to be pretty good. Tennessee's not great if you look at like their D as well. Well, let me go back to the pass rush real quick. But I think he's going to get a lot of pressure. So I think they're actually going to have to switch to shotgun quite a bit to keep Tannehill moving around. It's going to kind of take Derrick Henry out of the mix. But then also on the other side, I think the Tennessee's defense, I mean, I know like everyone looks like Derrick Henry in Pittsburgh, and you think it's going to be this like, black and blue bruiser game. Tennessee's defense is suspect, man. I mean, every week it's like these guys, we looked at the numbers, they lose the spread, or they lose to the spread. I think like every week they're like 3-11, but their record's 11-3. Everything's a tight game. They give up a lot of points, and they've been scoring a shit ton of points. So with that, I think Pittsburgh is going to easily score on Tennessee, which means that they're going to have to go to the pass anyway. I know that their game plan is going to want to be to grind Derrick Henry. The guy's playing great, but I'm selling, dude. 4's too high. I see him around like an 8-9 running back this week.
Yeah.
Hit me with the bias right now.
Let's go with the homer, baby.
But I'm selling too. At 4, I'm selling. Oh, yeah. I think he goes a little higher than what Joe says. A couple things to watch out for. So obviously Devin Bush isn't in there. He's making all the play calls. He's making all the adjustments. He's not. So now we got Spillane coming in. Spillane used to play with Henry. Came out this week and said, "Look, we never took people to the ground, so I don't really know what it's like to hit them, take them to the ground." So
he's gonna find out.
Yeah, not a good thing to have your middle linebacker saying. Couple other things. Hilton is questionable. TJ Watt's questionable. I think they both will play, but Hilton is a stud on the blitz and a stud at running backs in the backfield. Not a stud against slot corners. One of the worst in the league. But a stud up front. TJ Watt is TJ Watt. Neither one of those two play. Now he's getting projected up there. But I think even though they're going to pass the ball, I think this will be a high scoring game. They're going to have to throw.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets around 6 or 7 because they're still going to pound the rock with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets still over 30 touches. And all it's going to take is one run to break. And there you have it. It's the Miles Sanders. So we were like 1.7 yards allowed to running backs until the Miles Sanders big run, which like 3 people got held on that. So that should never even have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But Derrick Henry, the first 4 games was only like 3.74 average yards per carry also on that part. He seems to take a little while to get going. I don't know why. He's a big boy.
Yep.
But second half of the year, he's a stud. Same with Tannehill.
The Yeti. They call him the Yeti.
Yeah, and speaking of breakout, me and Clint were talking. This dude, how fast is this guy? They said he ran 21.6 miles an hour on that run. Dude, the damn cornerback could not catch him. I mean, holy shit, dude. Henry gets some wheels on him, man. That's crazy.
it's actually crazy, like Mark said. And if people didn't know, they do call him the Yeti, and that's because when it gets colder, he plays better. So like the later the season is, I don't know if he like has like a certain training regimen where he juices up slowly through the season or what the fuck this guy's doing, but he is an absolute beast. And he doesn't necessarily start slow, but he definitely picks it up. So
well, especially as the game goes on. He's that type of guy that you give him like his 25th and 26th carry, and he's running people over.
It's like he's not tired. Everyone else is tired. He's not tired.
He's gonna get. Like I said, I think even though they're gonna pass, I would not be surprised if he got 30 touches.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Derrick Henry, and he can definitely blow up for a 200-yard game.
You know, I don't know where we sat this week, but we were number one as far as running back hits in the backfield. So that if you got Derrick Henry, that helps because that's going to slow him down. That's going to give people time to get to him and give people time to tackle him because he can't tackle his ass.
That's a good stat. I like that.
Yeah. For me, he is also a sell. I believe Joe said he was going to be RB 7 or 8. Mark said 6 or 7. I put him about actually 5 or 6. So we're all right about the same area. Mm-hmm. Tennessee is the number 2 offense, number 1 running team in the league. But they are going against Pittsburgh, number 1 defense, number 1 run defense, and number 1 pressure. So that's kind of like what Mark said. The one thing I will say is if we were in a PPR league, I think this week he did hit running back 4. But you look at PPR backs like Aaron Jones, Kamara, Kareem Hunt, and Zeke right there alone. I think those teams have decent matchups and they're going to get enough passing to surpass Henry. But for our league, he's just out for me. He's a sell.
On the passing front though, I think Henry got like 5 targets.
I'm just
so that could step up as well.
Right. And that is true based off of last week. But if you look at the entirety of the season, it hasn't been implemented as much. And I do think that with this is kind of a sidetrack, but also kind of pertains to this is I think with Pittsburgh being the number 1 pressure, I think that you will see potential dump offs to Henry, but I think you're going to actually see the bump up in the tight ends. And maybe that's wishful thinking because I picked up the backup tight end because
that's wishful.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying though. I mean, he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. So
yeah, well, like you said, if he's hitting in the backfield, they actually might change it up to swing passes just to get him rolling. You know, hit him in that flat, let him go.
Extend the running game.
And so far, that swing passes, tight ends, anything over the middle in the prior years has been the Steelers' downfall. And this year, not so much. I mean, you seen that little dump off to Hooper, who just got lit up.
Oh my God,
just got crushed. And that's been happening on a regular basis. Some dudes, even on the swing passes and the small screens, they're just getting lit up in the backfield. Them guys are everywhere in the backfield.
Looking like the old Troy Polamalu days where there was no swing passing and no tight ends coming across the middle.
There's nothing there.
You did say all
over them. Saquon Barkley.
All those guys were hurt though.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley averaged 0.4 yards when we played him. I mean, granted that offensive line is dog shit, but it's still Saquon Barkley. 0.4 yards per carry is what he had.
That's crazy.
Yeah, now he has 0.
Thank you.
Moving on. Wide receiver 15, McLaurin versus Dallas. Wide receiver 15.
Go ahead, fellas. This one's a tough one for me.
Okay. This one is actually tough for me as well. I'm going to buy. I don't want to buy, but I'm going to buy. And the only reason, well, there's 2 reasons for me, is that Dallas is the number 32 defense, number 32 in coverage. And also, they literally have no one to throw the ball to. They picked up yesterday, they signed Robert Foster, who is a practice squad wide receiver. He played 2 years with Buffalo. He was on the Packers practice squad this year. They're literally picking up a practice squad player to play next week. So, I mean, it's hard to say, well, it's one wide receiver. You just take him out of the game. I think Dallas is just too hurt to do that. That's just my opinion. So I do think that he's going to hit wide receiver 15. I'm not high on McLaurin, especially that offense, but I just think the matchup is right for wide receiver 15.
So I'm buying. I like McLaurin. I was looking to draft him. I hope he would fall later on. I didn't think anybody would pick him up. But Johnny O stepped all over that. But I have my eyes on him. Yeah, because number one, there is no one else to throw the ball there to. Now that, there's some changes in that offense, it's kind of a mess. But I'm definitely buying. So here's the cornerbacks he's played this year: Darius Slayton, Marcus Peters, Jalen Ramsey, and James Bradbury. Those are the cornerbacks he's faced this year. He's still putting the points up.
Mm-hmm.
So he was also, I think, so 10-yard receptions among this is just rookies and second year wide receivers. He's number one with passes over 10 yards with 23. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's right behind him. So I'm buying. And then you throw in this Dallas matchup. So I'm buying all over it.
Yeah, this one for me, going against Dallas, everyone knows that defense is just horrible. But I am going to say that last week, I know they gave up a lot of points, but that was because of the turnovers. I will say, watching that game, their defense actually played a whole lot better. They were getting after the ball. There wasn't so many missed tackles. And Trayvon Diggs is getting better every week. He's our rookie corner from Alabama, and he is basically becoming our lockdown corner, which we don't have a lockdown corner, but they match him up on the best receiver on the team. He's physical. He does get some pass interference calls against him, but that yardage don't count. So with that said, I'm looking at McLaurin, and he's had some big weeks. He lit up Arizona. He lit up Baltimore. But when he played divisional games, he played Philly, he got 11. He played New York, he got 14. And since Kyle Allen has taken over in week 5, he got 5 points. And then last week against the Giants, he got 14 points. I do see him having, 8 catches, 80 yards, maybe even a touchdown, which is going to be a good week. I'm gonna sell, man. I think
okay.
I think
we got that homer pick, baby. Let's go.
I think that I know it's gonna be hard to say this, but he's gonna be 15, 16. I mean, he's right there. I'm hoping that there's other receivers that kind of get bounce back weeks and kind of blow up a little bit. But like I said, I have a feeling that the play this week is Gibson, the running back. And
100%.
And I think that I think we're gonna hold him down
even
a little
McKissick.
bit, man. Yep, I think we're gonna hold him down just a little bit.
Who'd you say was gonna guard him? I'm sorry.
Trayvon Diggs.
Okay. They're saying that Daryl Worley's gonna guard him.
No, Worley's garbage. He'd be garbage.
He allows 83% completion.
Yeah, he's garbage. Yeah. So I'm a triple sell this week, man.
Okay.
It's
I will say that kind of go off like what Mark said. The one thing that I don't know if the owners in this league do it, but if you don't, you should, is even if it's a player that you're not super high on, you should be looking at potential production. And I'm talking about targets and everything like that. So last week, McLaurin had 11 targets. He had a target share of 28% and he ran 94 route runs. So obviously he's on the field, and that means he has the potential to score. He can't score if you're not on the field, boys. So, all right. So, yeah, Joe's a triple sell. I'm a buy, sell, buy, and Mark is a sell, sell, buy. All right. That's
diversity.
That could lead to some shit here. We'll move into interesting facts. What do you guys got here?
Do you guys got any at all?
Yeah, I got like 5 or 6.
All right. So, well, if you want to roll through them, go ahead. So that way I don't step on them, because I got another 32, which I'm going to skip some. So
Okay. Do you have any, Mark?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Okay. Do you want to go, or you want me to go?
I'll go ahead.
Okay. So each week this season, one team has blown a 16-point or more lead every week this year.
Wow.
After week 6, Dak Prescott is still the number 1 passing yards in the league. He's got 1856, and number 2 is 1843. So Dak has played a game and a half less of these guys.
R.I.P. baby.
He's still number 1. So that was pretty interesting. This one's kind of cool. The through the first 6 games, the 2020 Jets have a point differential of -110. For some context, the 08 Lions, who went 0-16, had a -90, and the 2017 Browns, who also went 0-16, were -63. So they almost have double the points allowed, basically, or point spread as the Browns. So through 6 games, this 2020 Jets is the worst team in NFL history.
It's like the Trevor Lawrence play for sure. These guys are tanking, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's crazy. Moving on, we have Derrick Henry has 3 career games with 200+ rush yards and 2 touchdowns. There's only 3 other running backs in NFL history. Those running backs: Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, and LaDainian Tomlinson.
Good company.
Yeah. That's an elite elite group of backs, if you ask me. And then this is just to carry over to a previous interesting facts that I had. So I had one where the Lions have blown 10-point plus leads basically since week 13 of 2019. And they finally held on to one. They defeated Jacksonville by 18 points last week. Those are my interesting
playoff
facts.
bound.
Well, I don't know about that, but.
All right, what do you got, Mark?
So the NFL this year is on pace to hit the pass completion record of 65%. That beats last year's at 63. So
Yikes.
It keeps going up and up and up. So you got little boys, teach them how to be cornerbacks and safeties, for Christ's sakes.
No doubt.
So let's start to make a difference here. I'm a big run the ball, pound the rock, and the NFL is definitely not headed in that direction. But on that same note, Chicago has brought that percentage down. They're at like 57% and completion rate.
Oh,
Steelers, which is 58, which watching them games that I find that number is a big lie, because one thing you can do is pass on them once they get the time to pass. Second fact, the Eagles long snapper is paid more than any of their linebackers.
Jesus.
What?
Yeah. At one point in time, he was paid more than Deshaun Jackson. Very early on. Yeah. So
Wow.
There's some problems in that organization. Next fact, the top 3 healthy running backs in the league right now all have nose rings. So I've sent a fucking nose ring to Devontae Freeman, Melvin Gordon, and everybody else is a running back on my team, the mediocre pieces of shits. And hopefully they slap that fucking bull ring in their nose and just start pounding it around.
That is amazing. That is an amazing fact.
That's probably my favorite one.
Last fact, little known fact, Phillip Rivers is the first NFL player ever to trash talk.
Is that because he's so goddamn old?
No, it's just because he's so good at it. Obviously, he's not the first one, but
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's see what I got here. You can
only pay you 12, Greg.
yeah, that was amazing. Let's see. Oh no, hang on.
You can't play 12, Greg.
That was a hole because 95 was loafing. That's why that was a hole. He was loafing. Hey, y'all can't play with 12, Greg. Can't play with 12, Greg. Hey, Greg, you can only play with 11, Greg. JT, don't dance with him. Run him over. Don't dance with him. You weren't even close to making that play. You got your hand on it. You weren't even close. Hey, pooch kick right over here at you, 9-9. Hey, yeah, little blistered things. Awesome. Hey. Oh, honey. Oh, whoop, whoop. Oh, baby. Oh, Lee. Uh-oh. Shoot. Oh, my gosh. Shoot. That goes. Aggravates the stew out of me. Sheesh. Dang. That was a weird little sequence. That was a weird one.
What just happened here?
Damn, here nose rings, bro.
That is
nose
amazing.
ring, bro. Get a nose ring.
I'm about to get I'm about to go to Claire's and get some gift cards.
Claire's, Jesus Christ.
Let's go, baby. Get some shit at Claire's, dog.
Get a little pink nose ring in there. All right, here's what we got, fellas. We'll roll through some of these. I'm just going to skim, which I say every week, and it takes me 10 minutes. Patriots are 2-3 for the first time since 2001.
Ooh.
Yikes. Seahawks, Steelers, and Titans are still the only unbeaten teams in the league.
Let's go.
Yep. New York has now improved to 1-11 thanks to the Giants. Got the first win in New York. Colts, you already said this. They trailed 21-0 against the Bengals, stormed back to win 31-27. So like Dave said, that's at least one team in all 6 weeks that have overcome a 16-point deficit to win. Something that's never happened in the league's first 100 years. So that's pretty cool. Jets got throttled by Miami. Is the first team shutout in 2020. So no one's been shut out until week 6. Adam Gase was 16-8 in South Florida when he was coaching the Dolphins, but no surprise, he is 0-2 at Miami since becoming coach of the Jets. 2020 scoreboard: Tom Brady 4, Belichick 2. If anyone's keeping tabs on who's doing better.
Yeah, I am keeping tabs. I have a bet on that. I have a bet with someone that the Bucks are going to have a better record than the Patriots.
Nice.
Looks good so far.
Let's see. Battle of the Bays. If anyone is old enough to remember, they used to call it Battle of the Bays with Green Bay, Tampa Bay.
We still call it that in Green Bay.
It's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant now because they're different divisions, but it used to be a lot more important. But Bucks humiliated the Packers 38-10. Aaron Rodgers, who hadn't been intercepted all season, threw 2 in a span of 3 passes, including the third pick 6 of his career. Only the third pick 6. That's pretty impressive. Still had a horrible game.
I just want to add to that. So he has 3 pick 6s. Do you know where the first one was at? It was also in Tampa Bay. All of his pick 6s are there.
Was it like Rondé Barber or something back then?
He said he said it must be like the weather or something around there. Oh no, he said it was the turf. He said the turf is dog shit there. Anyway, keep going.
All right. Gronk caught a touchdown pass from Brady. First time in 679 days that hookup has happened. It says if you need to win a game, you fire your head coach. Interim head coaches are now 2-0 in their 2020 debuts.
It's like I said that one podcast, bro.
Nice. Bucks rout Green Bay, yada yada yada. They are now leading the NFC North.
Wait, what? They're not in the NFC North.
Sorry. It says the Bears have seized the NFC North at 5-1.
sure.
So yep, there's just a lot more to it. I'm scamming here. Bears continue to struggle. Bears are averaging 2.5 yards per carry.
Montgomery,
baby.
That's
what they averaged. They averaged this Sunday at Carolina. But Nick Foles punched in a TD on a 1-yard sneak, making Chicago the last NFL team to score points in the third quarter this season. They were no points third quarter. Big Dick Nick. Let's see. The Niners beat the Rams, which now means that no NFC West team has a losing record. So that division is rolling. Browns still haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2003. We covered that. Let's see. Roethlisberger has never lost to Cleveland at Heinz Field. That's pretty impressive. Steelers are 5-0.
He's never lost to a team with a color in their name at home. 16-0.
Oh my goodness.
That. Yeah.
14-0 against Cleveland. 2-0 against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was going to put that as an interesting fact, but I was like, that's kind of, but yeah, it is true.
Steelers are 5-0 for only the second time in franchise history. We talked about that last week. That was a shock to me with as many good years as they've had that they've only started 5-0 twice. Obviously, it was 78 with the Steel Curtain. They won the Super Bowl. Let's see. Congrats to Giants rookie head coach Joe Judge, the last of 5 new head coaches in 2020 to notch a win. Titans, holy shit. Titans had 601 yards of offense in their 42-36 win over the Texans. It was the most in franchise history, besting the previous mark of the 1991 Houston Oilers. They had 583. Tennessee is the only team in the last 70 years to win 4 games after playing the previous Tuesday. So since games are getting moved now, that might start changing a little bit. Man, it's nothing but Tennessee and Steelers here. After racking up 212 yards on Sunday, Derrick Henry became the first man in NFL to post a 200-yard effort on the ground in 3 successive seasons. Houston has allowed the opposing rusher to gain at least 130 yards 3 times this season. So they got some holes in that defensive line. We'll skip this one. Let's see. Baltimore scored 30 points, a 29th consecutive regular season game in which the Ravens notched at least 20. Only Peyton Manning and the 2012-2014 Broncos had a longer streak. Theirs was 30 games. That is insane. 30 games of 20 points or more. That's the longest in NFL history. That's amazing. And that was when Peyton was old. Let's see here. Skip. Sunday was only the 5th time in the last 5 regular seasons that the Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones had 2 touchdowns in 1 game. And he's never had 3 in 1 game. Such a waste, man. They never utilize that guy for touchdowns. Let's see. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins has 20 multi-interception games in his career after throwing 3 picks on Sunday. His teams, you know what his record is on those? Go ahead and give it to me.
Well, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh my God, you're not even listening. Kirk Cousins has 20 multi-interception games in his career. Do you know what the record is? His record on those 20 games.
Multi-interceptions has got to be 2-18.
He's 0-20.
I was gonna say that, but I felt like it was too
that's
obvious.
Crazy. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Brandon McManus had 18 points last week. New England had 12. So he single-handedly beat New England. And again, listen to Pat McAfee. I think they said it was like 3 or 4 50-yarders in that game. So McManus was on fire. Julian Edelman, most notably, he played quarterback at Kent State in college. He attempted 2 passes in an NFL game for the first time in his 12-year career, and he completed both. So that's pretty cool. And everyone knows Tua made his debut on Sunday. He completed 2 throws for 9 yards. So it says still a ways to go to get a better passer rating than Julius Edelman.
But he is 100% completion rating.
Yep. Edelman was 100% for 38 yards, and he was 100% for 9. And let's see, nothing good there. Daniel Jones has a team high, and this is how bad they're missing Saquon in New York. Daniel Jones has a team high 204 yards rushing after bolting for a career high 74 yards on Sunday. That is nuts. Oh, and his predecessor, Eli Manning, never ran for more than 80 yards in a season. So he got almost 80 in 1 game. That's all I got, boys.
Sometimes I miss those pocket passers, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
The one thing you said something about the Tuesday game. I actually thought this was interesting. That was not the first Tuesday night football game. I did not realize that. I don't remember the last one. It was the second one. I don't remember when the first one was, but when they talked about it, it wasn't the first one that's happened. So.
Yep. So it said here, I should have read more, but like I said, I was skimming, but it says that the 2010 Vikings were the only other club since 1950 that actually had the opportunity to pull that off. So I don't remember exactly what happened in 2012 and why they played on a Tuesday or 2010. Sorry, but it's something I could go look up for sure.
All right. we'll move into week 6 rewind. We'll just go through this quick. The 3-2 consent not required versus the 2-3 swear at me. Consent not required wins 136.8 to 105.9. There was a score correction. Yeah, 105.9.
Dominated.
Dominated. Yep. Joe picked himself. I picked myself, and Kilo picked Joe. So 2 of them hit. Basically, all I have to say is we both had played a player with 0 points.
Dude, keeping the streak alive, baby.
Henry and
Keeping the
Jaceki,
streak.
keeping my my streak alive that I had talked about. I will say that I was actually happy with my week other than Jaceki and Hill. I thought Hill was going to do more, and Jaceki obviously 0 points. So I'm not upset with my week. The one thing I will say, it's hard to beat the Mahomes Kelsey stack. And then you add Jefferson in with that. Those 3 alone had
amazing. Yeah,
those 3 alone had 85.7 points. Those 3 together. So basically, the rest of his team didn't have to do much to beat me. So
hopefully that'll be standard when I get Michael Thomas playing. It'll be my Mahomes, Kelsey, Thomas, but we'll see how it goes. Guy can't see the field, so I definitely got lucky here. Jefferson caught every goddamn touchdown that Mahomes or that Cousins was firing off in the second half. So
yeah.
There was a point, I think it was like a quarter and a half in, that Jefferson had like 3 points, and then he just caught everything else. So definitely saved me there. Tyreek Hill, I was actually surprised. He went to Kelsey and then Robinson a shit ton, and he only threw for 200 and some odd yards. So they ran the football, but it changed the game plan up down there. So Tyreek Hill was almost a non-factor, which kind of shocked me. But.
Yeah, it was the most that Andy Reid's ever ran before, they said.
Yep.
And if you did watch the game, I know it was a primetime game, so most of us did, but Tyreek Hill was actually off the field quite a bit just because he wasn't like holding his hammy, but he was like limping. I don't know if he had an ankle issue or what.
He got tackled on a play out of bounds, and he popped up with a limp. So after that, they really kind of limited his the option they, like I said, was Robinson. I'm surprised Hardman got a 0-2, but
he only had 3 targets. He was, I don't want to say he wasn't on the field, but he was definitely not looked at. He ran 97% of the routes, but he definitely wasn't looked at. Like if you watch that game, Mahomes didn't look at him that much. But yeah, I think the variance between Hill and Jaceki for me, well, I mean, you can negate that with Harry. The minimal points there and the maximum points for Jefferson, that was the deciding factor for sure. You got anything to say, Mark? Not really.
No, you pretty much covered it. I mean, Jefferson, I mean, the dude's a stud to begin with, but he was a product of that what happened to that game. Atlanta coming up, the picks by Kirk. I mean, he just came out. They had to throw the ball, and it's going to get thrown to him, and he's catching anything near him. So he was definitely a product of that. Not taking anything away from him. The dude's an absolute stud, but that, I mean, for going from -3 points, that Cousins had to ended it with 29.
Yeah.
So they had to throw the ball, and almost all of them went to them. And on the other side, James Conner. The points may not show as ridiculous. I mean, James Conner doesn't have a ridiculous high ceiling, but that's probably one of his best games. And watching that game, that was one of his best games running. I like James Conner as a runner. Like I've said this before, I'm not a big fan of him as a fantasy because I've seen him go down with injuries that to me are kind of dog shit injuries. Like you're in the NFL, you beat cancer, toughen the fuck up, get in there. So, but he ran hard. And he hit holes. He had good vision. He made cuts when he got into that second layer into the secondary. So he had a really good game. And now if he continues that, I mean, that's only going to get better. So I mean, and Kareem Hunt. I mean, it was the Steelers D. They're going to shut him down. It's the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL, but they're going to shut you down.
So 2 points in that game. I mean, we all watched that game, obviously, but first off. This whole little inside the 5-yard line shit to Claypool, it's got to stop. I mean, like this is James Conner. Give this dude a touchdown. This is 2 weeks in a row they did this little flip reverse to Claypool. And
but they scored. They're not gonna stop.
And I think that this continues. I think that's one of the James. That's why I think James Conner doesn't have a high ceiling. Yeah. In the past, when they get down there, it's Benny Snell time. And
I was just gonna say Benny Snell was in there quite a bit.
Personally, I like to see Anthony McFarland come in when they get down there.
He did come in on one drive.
Yeah, keep this
in the red zone.
The same play to Claypool. So Claypool now has 2 rushing touchdowns, tied with J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, that needs to quit. That needs to quit now. And secondly, as far as Kareem Hunt goes, that whole game, dude, Pittsburgh was just laying the wood on everybody. Every hit in that game. I see Hooper get depleted like twice. Every time Kareem Hunt got up, this dude is getting up super slow. His ribs are hurting. Baker Mayfield was getting rocked. Them guys were flying all over that fucking field, man. And I'm just sitting back there holding my breath going, please do not knock Kareem Hunt out for the year, because this guy was getting shelled. So moving on, hopefully next week will be, a little bit easier, but right now he's questionable. He took so many goddamn hits. So
I do want to point this out, because honestly, in this season, it's the only thing I have going for myself is my predictions on this podcast, because anything else, I'm fucking dog shit. I'm goddamn only 2 wins. But I will say once again, goddamn, I'm fucking genius out here. I did say my running backs were going to outperform the Hunt Connor combo, and that happened. So, all right, moving on. We have the 3-2 No Fier. Oh my God, I don't want to talk about this game. Versus the 4-1 tailor-made Kittle deck. The original score, No Fier wins 127.5 to 127.3. Only wins by 0.2. And then the stat correction comes. They gave Tannehill a fumble, so he loses 2 points. So congrats to fucking Clint. Wins 127.3 to 125.5. I don't have anything on this except the fucking stat correction, dude. You wake up and you see, oh, hell yeah, I won this motherfucking game. Then you look at it the next day and you lost.
Right. Let's see here.
That shit is wild, bro.
Let me roll through some of these texts here.
Yeah. Just go ahead, Joe, do your thing. But I will say Joe picked JR, I picked JR, and Kilo picked Clint. So Kilo was the only one that hit.
Here's my Monday night conversation. I get a text message. This is from Stallion, by the way. Told you I was gonna lose, fuck ass. Shit. Congrats on your win. And I said, well, Jesus, you have Zeke and a kicker going yet? He says he has Dallas as tight end. And then I say, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I get a Jesus. And then I get a, yeah, what the fuck? Hell yeah, motherfucker. And then he said, Fantasies, what's up? That was the next morning. So he was definitely going through a roller coaster of emotions. He was flipping out all day Sunday. 8 minutes into the first set of games, he's kicking trash cans, stomping around the silos, super fired up, thinking he's going to lose. And then, like I said, nice surprise to wake up. I know we just got done gaming like 3 a.m. that day, and I text you because I was going to bed and I checked the scores.
Yeah.
And there was no stat correction, so we didn't know what happened at the time. But he's lucky as fuck, man. But he's super happy now. He's in first place. But what I am going to say is, welcome to the top, Clint. But now here comes all the hating. So once you're on top, dog, everyone hates on you. So fuck off.
Oh, I already hated Clint. So.
Yep.
You got anything here, Mark?
I mean, I really thought that Dalton Schultz was going to get more targets than that. I thought Andy Dalton was going to come in and be Andy Dalton. I thought Gallup would have a big game because, I mean, that's the AJ Green that right there. And so it just didn't happen. He didn't perform like I thought he ended up going to CeeDee Lamb a lot. I didn't really think that would happen. I thought he would go to the trusty veterans. I thought he'd hit his tight end, thought he'd hit them throws at Gallup, and I thought he'd go to Amari Cooper. And then he ended up turning around, going right to CeeDee Lamb. I mean, that dude's a stud, but so that kind of hurt. I thought he would score a lot more and the Schultz, and I thought that would put him over the edge looking at this game. I know I wasn't here for the predictions, but I really thought that JR was going to pull this one out. So
one thing I will say, I kind of forgot about this, but and this once again is just my opinion, just like everything else. But the reason Clint won was because he got lucky. I think that DeAndre Swift should have never got 27 points. I know that he didn't even have half the carries in the game. The one thing, if you didn't watch that game, two plays, he had 2 touchdowns. Wide receivers got tackled within the 5-yard line. And because they were blowing them out, Swift was in the game. AP was still starting that game, still playing, and then they fucking ran up the score. They were up by like fucking 3 scores. So they're like, fuck it, Swift, get in. And that's not going to happen again. I
think his savior was Tim Patrick. So he almost had to play him out of default because he didn't have many other options. And it was either going to sit on John Brown on Tuesday or was it Monday? I don't remember what day they were going to play, but either way, the Buffalo game was pushed. So I was the Monday night. So he was either going to sit on a questionable John Brown and not have anybody in case he got benched or couldn't play. So he had to throw in Tim Patrick, and Tim Patrick actually, I think, saved his whole team.
But that's what, didn't I say that the last podcast? I said, quit fucking sitting on questionable players that you don't even know if they're going to play. Play someone and at least get some points.
Yep.
And then what happens? You win the fucking week.
Little sidebar just on the Schultz situation.
And John Brown's a dog shit.
Andy Dalton right now, I like Andy Dalton, but if you guys watch that game, and I'm sure you guys have all heard me whine about it, but no Tyron Smith, no Travis Frederick, no La'el Collins. So there's 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen gone. Then Zach Martin goes down. So there's 4 of our Pro Bowl linemen. They're all gone. He had about 1.5 seconds every snap, and that pocket was touching him. They were trying to protect, but they would push back so far that it was collapsed. So I think that's going to be kind of the normal. And then Brandon Steele, the guy that is playing left tackle, who's trash already, now he's hurt. So now we're going to have another guy coming in off the practice squad. It's going to be rough goings for Andy Dalton if they can't find a way to protect. So I don't know, man. Schultz would have been a nice little weapon for him, but I think it's just going to be whoever's open. He's throwing. He's got to get rid of it quick. So.
And then going back to that, what about them Zeke fumbles? What's going on with that boy?
So I will chalk one up to Zeke for sure. The second one, the first one, dude, that was a panic throw by Andy Dalton in the last second. I don't even think he knew it was coming to him. So by the time he even caught it and went to turn, he didn't have the ball tucked yet. And that was a great defensive play. But again, I think this is going to be normal. If you look at the holes, they're not there. So you're asking Zeke, now granted, he should cover the fucking ball up.
Yeah, hold on to the fucking ball. Yeah. The holes are there now.
Yeah, this guy's supposed to be a fucking pro, and supposed to be all pro, and he can't hang on to the goddamn football. But I think you're going to see a lot of his weaknesses come through because, listen, dude, he's had the luxury of having a huge line down there his whole career, and it's going to be a struggle for him unless they come up with some better way. And I'm telling you right now, it's a turmoil fucking mess down there. And McCarthy is, man,
players hate him, bro.
Yeah. This guy's so stupid.
We're not prepared.
Not preparing us. Not
prepared.
Not making adjustments.
This guy's stupid. I'm gonna add one that might come on, man.
Going on.
So, yeah. All right, I'm good there.
I got a little something just to help Zeke out. Maybe I'll share my screen here.
Oh, I gotta stop sharing. Is it a nose ring?
No, well, he's already got a nose ring.
Yeah, I know another one.
No,
the ones that you're sending out.
Let me find it here. No.
Damn, the program. I love the program.
I gotta share a different one. I'm new at the sharing on this.
If you guys haven't watched the program, go watch the program.
God, why does he keep sharing that one?
It's a like a little fake spin-off. It's supposed to be Florida State, but they couldn't use Florida State, but they used their colors and everything else. It's a good movie.
You should be able to just share that screen and then pull up whatever you want, Mark.
Okay, is it showing now?
Oh yeah.
So we should. You should think of this conversation we had with Zeke.
What are you trying to make a highlight reel?
Not this one.
That man left you hogging air. You take this helmet. Jefferson here. He's gonna be carrying his.
Wait.
It's Omar Epps. He's the lookalike for doppelganger for Tom.
So are you injured? I think I'm just hurt. That's good. And get up. Now, that was a hell of a run you just made. Think how good it would have been for us if you still had the ball. See, now this is a football. I want you to carry this with you always. Never let it out of your sight. Hey, boys! Listen! Jefferson here is going to be carrying this football on campus. Any one of you guys see him, I want you to try to slap it out of his hand. All right? Try to knock it out and recover it. Anybody but you.
Have it for you tomorrow, Coach.
You wish you were never born. All right, let's step it up.
There you have it.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It is good.
That is a good movie too. So go watch it, fellas. But yeah, Zeke just coughing it up right now, man. You can hit your helmet all you want, bro, but you better fix that shit.
Oh God, you got to fix the fumbles, man. I hate fumbles.
Yeah, they are negative. I think negative 12 in the turnover department. They've turned it over 15 times and only gotten 3. They're fucked.
Yeah, and then on top of it, like I mean, obviously it's the reason you hate the fumbles and the interceptions, but man, when you see that point differential based off of turnovers, that shit just eats at you, bro. Oh my God. All right, let's move.
Garrett. We are definitely not disciplined with McCarthy.
Yeah. Let's move on. We have the 1-4 uncircumcised Chubb versus the 3-2 baby Chark. Uncircumcised Chubb wins 115.6 to 107.8.
That a boy, pocket dogs.
Joe picked Tom. I picked John, and Kilo picked Tom. So I was the only one that hit.
Yep. With this one here, I mean, listen, Johnny got lucky. And if you look at Johnny's team, he got a single digit. Nobody really went bananas except for the Steelers defense. So Steelers D definitely pulled it through for him. Big win, and congrats on now you're tied. Well, you're still tied at the bottom, but at least you're within striking distance.
5 teams at the bottom.
Yeah. So welcome to the club. Tom shit the bed. Cooper Kupp dropped that 1 touchdown. It would have made it a lot closer. Actually, it would have been 1 + 6. Yeah, it would have been pretty damn close. And then Juju, just I don't know if this is gonna be normal with Juju with Claypool now. Maybe he's gonna be the decoy. I'm not sure. Mark, you'd know more about that, but either way, that definitely hurt Tom. He had a nice game. Both running backs. Anytime you get 15, 16, and then Fulgham is lights out the last couple of weeks. So, and I will say Austin Hooper is getting involved in the offense a whole lot more. It just happened to be that he ran into Pittsburgh's D.
Yeah. So, and Johnny O's got that, and what appeared to be a good move. He switched and got Chase Edmonds because Kenyon Drake was not doing anything, and then so he switches him out and. Yeah, what's Kenyon Drake does, and he went off. Granted, some of that's just a big play, but yeah, now Johnny O's got to sit there and go back and forth. Who's going to get the goal line touches? I think Chase Edmonds is still going to get the dump offs, the passes, but yeah, he did get pretty lucky here. So I think Evan Ingram, he sees all the throws. He's just not getting in the end zone. I mean, that offense is just straight dog shit. But one of these weeks, I mean, he's going to put up 10 points. One of these weeks, he's going to get a touchdown or 2 in a game. I think it's coming. When it comes, hopefully sooner or later for Johnny O. But it just doesn't seem to be happening. He's getting the targets, so he's got a team full of that. Jamison Crowder, that nonstop targets. I mean, the dude, you can't bench him. He's going to get the targets. He's the only one. Just not really hitting the end zone here. But then on Tom's side. Yeah, I mean, when you can throw in James White and get the points you did out of him, that's a win to get any points out of a New England running back. Because now you got Cam running the ball, so he's taken away. I mean, that backfield's always been not a mess, but they just switch it so often. It's not even running back by committee. It's so messed up how they do it. So it's hard to predict that. But when Cam starts running, that takes it away. But he's playing like dog shit. They don't have anybody to throw the ball to. So he's dumping it off to White. So that was a good play by him and good points put it up. So, and the Juju part, I think this week Juju has, I wouldn't want to say it a comeback week. I don't think he's going to have necessarily a comeback week. He's not going to put the points up that he did the last few years. I mean, you started to see it last year. You know, it was more James Washington. So is he a decoy? Maybe. He's starting to play like I think a Michael Gallup is that kind of decoy role. So he's starting to get into that. I don't see a lot of balls thrown to him deep down the field. That's what worries me. So he's starting to be the underneath route. I'll get you the third down. You know, I know where the sticks are. He's the veteran, even though he's super young on that wide receiving core. But you used to see a lot of deep balls to him. You don't see that no more. Them deep balls are going to James Washington. They're going to Claypool. They're going to Deontay Johnson once he comes back. So I think that he has a better week this week just because they're going to throw the ball. I think they're going to light Tennessee up. I think after that, though, it's ceiling's low.
Yeah. I've always just wondered with Juju and, you know, the Antonio Brown thing, sure. But I think he was more comfortable running those wide receiver 2 routes than he is running the wide receiver 1 routes. So who knows what's going to happen. But, you know, with the emergence of Claypool, you know, maybe Claypool eventually get the WR1 routes. I don't know. He's really not that style of player, but
no.
Either way, Tom, I'll trade you for him if you want to get rid of him.
Well, that's probably highly considered.
That took me a second. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, that's fucked. All right. Oh, give me a second. We'll move on to the 4-1 Dagger time versus the 2-3 Fournettecated. Fournettecated wins 111.3 to 104.1. All of us picked Kilo. So no.
Yeah. Listen, Marshall had a shit ton of guys on bye weeks, so it made the pick easy, you know, in my opinion. Dalvin Cook was out, Carson, Metcalf. Yeah. I mean, so Henry, Renfro, not that he plays those guys, but does play Hunter Henry once in a while. So with that said, and like we talked, Jamal Williams, 3.4. Look at Parker, 6.5. He pitched a goose egg with Hardman, and yet he somehow got the win. And it's definitely Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller combo.
The Deshaun Watson Fuller stack is, I don't know which one's my favorite, the Mahomes Kelsey stack or the Watson Fuller stack.
Yeah, well, it's definitely Mahomes Kelsey, but
dude, I don't see it that way.
This one really saved him this week, and he hasn't not had great production this year out of Deshaun Watson, but maybe they're starting to get something rolling down there. So we all know Deshaun Watson can be dangerous. But with that said, then go look at Kilo's side. The -1 from the pack, 2 out of Gostkowski in a 36 or 42 point game. This guy gets 2 points. I think he had 3 missed kicks again. So he's back to his week 1 efforts, but those things just cost him the win. Even if he would have made 3 field goals, he would have beat Marshall this week, but was what it was, man. Congrats, Marshall. Thanks for bringing Kilo back down to reality. So now he's within striking distance for me. So appreciate it, dog.
Yeah, congrats to Marshall. So I've talked with Marshall quite a bit about it. So earlier on, that Watson Fuller, it just wasn't there, and but Marshall stuck with it. He kept riding him out, kept playing him, and now it's starting to pay off. It seemed like they just needed a little bit of time to get grooved up. So I think that's happening. I've talked to Marshall several times and said, man, I think his team on paper for the long haul is set up to make a run at this.
Yeah.
And he made some moves that I'm with you. That Hardman one, I thought that was there. Too. Now, why did they not use him? Why are they not using him? I thought it was there, and it wasn't. I was super surprised at that. I mean, that was one of my
game. That's why.
Yeah, one of my kind of shocks that week on what happened. But I mean, the Bears D went out. He's got Casey's kicker that's always going to be putting up points, and he's got some people on the bench. He's in a bye week, so he needed this win, and then he got this win, and he gets his players back.
Yeah.
Cooks is going to come back. I mean, Carson, so he's set up for a run in the long haul. He's said I think he's had the most points scored against him, and then I think it was him, then me in the league so far this year. So some of our conversations were it was kind of the same way I was the beginning of the year, just teams just blowing me out. I couldn't win if I put up 140 points, just blowing me out. And then we hit into the bye weeks and the injuries. And once I was down, there was just no coming back from it. Well, Marshall was in that similar situation to start the year, but his team is now set up for the longer haul. I mean, majority of them are all healthy. So I think he's going to.
Yeah. And Watson, we talked, he was struggling early, but in week 3, he played Pittsburgh and he was 264 and 2 touchdowns. He had 20 points. Since then, he's gone 302 touchdowns for 25, 360 and 3 touchdowns for 30, 335 and 4 touchdowns for 40. So he's definitely starting to roll down there. And, he's always had big game potential. I'm not a huge fan of Watson, but this is what you can get out of him in fantasy. So obviously their win-loss record in real life doesn't show it, but he is starting to roll, and probably at the right time, Marshall's back up to 3-3 and within striking distance of everybody again. So big win when you needed it the most.
Yep.
I will say, I do agree with you guys on that. But man, those last few weeks for Marshall at the end of the season and in the playoffs, Indy, week 13, at Chicago and at Indy for Watson. Whew. Yeah. If you go by right now, I mean, a lot can change, but Indianapolis is second against quarterbacks and wide receivers. So that's.
Dave, that's funny that you're looking at that too, because I always feel like there's not very many people that look at that. I was just telling this to Clint the other day because I was fucking jerking off over my own matchups, but I feel like I set my team up for 14, 15, and 16, assuming that you're going to make the playoffs, and I love my matchups. And so I'm surprised other people are looking that far ahead, but I do it all the time
too. People have heard me complain about this, and I'm not. I don't want to come off as a fucking egotistical asshole because I know that I am, but I do want to point this out. Like the amount of time that I spend in our league, I've said this before. I'm in 3 other leagues. I spend maximum 15 minutes on those other leagues. I spend an hour a day on our league, making sure that I have the right shit for now and the future. And there's so many people that do not, I would say the mass majority of our league. And these are the people that I'm losing to. No offense, guys. But it is fucking nuts. The amount of work I put into this shit, and I'm fucking last place. It is crazy because I guarantee you people don't even look at who their players are playing next week.
Right.
Alone, who's playing 14, 15, 16. You got motherfuckers that don't even know the players on their team that they fucking root for. This shit is fucking wild, bro. But anyway, moving on. Oh God. Sorry, Mark. We have the 2-3 Eskimo brothers versus the 3-2 shoe name. Matt put the fucking spanking on him. 133.9 to 79.8. I pick Mark. Joe picked Mark, and Kilo picked Matt. IT for life. They stay together. Basically, the only thing I wrote on here in very bold writing is 79.8. That's all I wrote.
So that's what I was going to say too. I was going to say, welcome to the 70-point club with the Varners this year. It is now both Varners and Mark that have scored in the 70s.
Oh.
You had a chance to take over the worst points there at the end.
So I went into this not that worried. So I was projected at 140.
Yeah.
I thought my matchups were good matchups.
I did too.
Like Dave says, it's super frustrating for me because obviously I'm sitting behind the fucking wood and I'm still 2 fucking wins is all in this year. And I put a fuck ton of time into this. So even when I propose trades and people propose trades to me, I'm looking at who they're playing 3 and 4 weeks out. I'm not just looking at this 1 week. And, it just cannot pan out. So everybody just kind of shit the bed here. So Ben was a product of a strong defense, the turnovers, those short fields, that Claypool, got a touchdown, that big touchdown that Claypool should have had. They call it was the right call. He put his hand down.
It was
the
bullshit call.
Ball crossed the pylon. I can't really agree with it. So that took a touchdown away from him. David Montgomery has a touchdown. Then they call him same thing. The goddamn hand touched it right before. So that was probably there's a touchdown away there. Mark Andrews kind of obviously did nothing. Shit the bed. Alexander Madison. I mean, I still I wake up every morning still fucking pissed off about that. I mean, I like Tyler Boyd in my system with my wide receivers. He probably was never going to see the field. I looked at my bye weeks ahead of time and said, even in my bye weeks, he probably don't come in. And Dave asked me one time, how come you keep trying to get rid of Tyler Boyd? Because I've looked, like, I don't see a week where I can really plug him in. He's got some good matchups. He's going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to get chemistry. But with the way my wide receivers are set, even on certain bye weeks, he's probably not going in. So he's worth the trade value. I knew it was one game only that Madison's going to play. But like I said, I need to win now. And they just shit the bed.
Oh, yeah. So week to week league, you got to get a win whenever you can. You know, and he was projected 18. It just they turned the ball over so much early that they had to throw to catch up. So
and I didn't even think he would hit his 18 projection. I thought that was too high, but I did not think 4. So when Tom and Dave come over to watch football, I remember Tom coming in, and I was like, the games are halfway through the second quarter. I got fucking 12 points. And when Dave came over, I said, one of the things I kind of hate is all my people had about noon games, all but I think maybe one. And I can't stand 2. Yeah, I can't. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had Hopkins and was it the Graham? Oh, I don't remember. But I can't stand when they all have that. And then so watching them just right away, I was like, oh, well, and then you think, oh, it can turn around like a couple touchdowns away, and then the Steelers D just kept playing out of their minds and short fields, and now we're just running the ball. And I was like, fuck.
Anytime you see Kyler Murray hang up a 32-pointer and Hopkins only gets 9 of it. And he only had 9 completions. So that also hurt too. So I definitely thought D-Hop was going for a 25 to 30 pointer against Dallas.
Yeah,
but
so did I. But fucking potato.
Potato. New audio clip.
That one's rough. All right. Moving into the last game, we have the 2-3 Kilos Gary versus the 1-4 CallofJeudy. CallofJeudy wins 123.1 to 94.3. We all picked Sean, so we all hit. And the only thing that I really have to say about this game is Derek Yeti Henry. And then on Brandon's side, he had a lot of single digits, including his quarterback. So, like, honestly, I would actually be happy that I put up 94.3 to be completely honest. But, I mean, he did have a huge game from Julio Jones. So, I mean, that's.
So on this one here, if you look at Brandon's team, well, first off, congrats, Sean, on winning the Varner Bowl.
Yeah, again. Varner Bowl. Forgot about that. Sorry.
I know it's not very much fun when you don't have any competition in a certain bowl game. So, whatever. But you're going to beat Brandon probably every year because his team sucks. But look at Brandon's team. Julio gets I don't even know what that is at the top of my head, 37% of his whole points scored off of one player. Yeah. And then his second highest score is Tucker. And then his third highest is the Cardinals D. With that said, we also talked about Derrick Henry. He went bananas, but I want to just put a little note out there that somebody asked me on our ship for fantasy advice if they would play Stafford or Rodgers this week. And I really thought that, Aaron Rodgers would still have a decent game, but I knew Tampa Bay's defense was going to be pretty stout. And I had Green Bay winning 27-21 with maybe Aaron Jones getting 1 or 2 touchdowns. I said, honestly, I'm going to go with Stafford because he's playing Jacksonville. And Brandon said, with that said person said, hey, well, there's no way that's going to happen. I will bet you breakfast that Aaron Rodgers outscores Matt Stafford. So she's eating good on next breakfast day.
Double loss.
Yep,
well,
double loss.
Hold on,
Yep.
you forgot the best part of the story. So Stafford puts up 13.4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well,
oh yeah,
it's like I'm getting free breakfast because Stafford only put up 13.4 points.
His stomach was growling, I think.
And
He's
now,
like, oh yeah.
Now Katie wins with Rodgers only getting 3.4. That's pretty funny.
Yep.
Yeah, so we all hit on that game. For the week, Joe was 2-4, David was 2-4, Kilo was 4-2. Moving the overalls, Joe 20-16, David 23-13, Kilo 10-8, Marshall sits at a 7-11, and Matt sits at a 2-4.
Ooh, those guys gotta get back on the show to try and get a winning record.
Yeah, bro, you got to. I mean, that they're willing. I know that they are willing, but like we said, we're trying to get new people in here. So.
We'll see what Mark does this week. We'll see where he ends up.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna hit the standings real quick so everyone can see where they sit. I'm sure everyone knows, but here we are. I will say, for personally, sitting at 2-4, I'm only one game out of making the playoffs right now. So still gotta still grind here, but that's where we sit. Your division has 3 teams at 2-4, and they're still technically only one game out too. No one's really running away with it. I mean, Clint's up there at 5 wins, but there's still, what are we at? 7 more weeks. So
if not for a stat correction, we'd be all 4-2, 2-4, and you guys would have 4-2s, as well. So
yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, because you would gladly rub it in my face if it was the other way. Second Harvest was 4-2 for the week.
Stat correction.
We are moving into the second week, and that's not going to change. So,
well, thank God, me and Johnny O holding it down for Pocket Dogs.
Yeah,
thanks, Johnny.
So,
which in all reality, that's the best thing that could ever happen to me.
Right. All right, so we'll move into week 7 predictions. We'll start off with my game, like always. Let me move this. We have the 2-4 Swear at Me versus the 2-4 Kilos Gary. What you guys got?
So on this one here, I've got, and this pains me to say this, I'm picking Brandon by 4. I haven't picked Brandon all year long. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a really nice bounce back game. There's no way he's putting up 2 games like that in a row, especially against Houston's defense. He does have some questionable people, as well as you, with Mixon possibly being banged up, but he says he's going to play. The one thing I put in here was I do not like Kelly. I do not like 2 tight ends on Brandon's side. On your side, I liked Wentz, liked Mixon, liked Hill, liked Claypool, but I don't like. Well, I like Rodgers more than I like Wentz. I'm not real big on AP this week. I think they're going to kind of toy around with Swift to see what he can do. And I also put tight end question mark. You actually have the handcuff to Jonnu Smith. So depending on what happens there, he could be screwed. He might have to put Tanya N up in there and then play like CeeDee Lamb or somebody. But I got Brandon by 4.
You want me to go, Mark?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So for me, I picked myself 127 to 115. I'm high on Wentz against the New York Giants. It's the number 14 defense, number 28 in coverage. And the Giants are actually 28th in offense, so they're not going to hold the ball. That's going to be on the Eagles side. I'm high on Mixon versus Cleveland, but if he doesn't play, I picked up Bernard for that reason. As much as Bernard pissed me off this year when he got his touches, he's started getting phased out. Well, if Mixon doesn't play, I have Bernard to pick it up. But they're going against Cleveland, number 15 run defense. I am high on AP. I don't believe that Swift is going to be as big as factor as what people think. And the only reason I feel like that is I watched that game and he literally wasn't a factor until they were blown up, and he had the 2-yard touchdowns because he was in the game. I mean, that easily could have been AP. They're going against Atlanta, number 25 run defense. AP holds 58% of the carries this season. He had the most carries in week 6. And like I said, Swift was in on a big game, big lead. I am high on Godwin versus Las Vegas. That's the number 31 defense, number 31 coverage. Week 6, Godwin. So he came back. Week 6, his targets were 7, and he had 26% of the target share. His cornerback that's going to guard him is LaMarcus Joyner, and Joyner is the 7th worst cornerback rank in the league, and he's got 69% completion rating that he's allowed. Hill is, I don't know, I think Hills might hit his projection. He'll be close. The only reason he's going against Denver, number 1 defense, number 4 coverage. I'm not really high on my tight end, and the reason being that I picked him up is because he is the handcuff to Gianna Smith. And I want to force Brandon's hand to play Robert Tonyan because I don't think he's going to have a good game. And Robert Tonyan didn't practice this week so far. He's hurt too. So I'm basically picked him up to fuck Brandon. I don't care what points he gets as long as it's higher than 0, because at this point, that's why I think Brandon's going to get first tight ends. High on Claypool against Tennessee, number 21 defense, number 23 coverage. High on Eagles versus New York Giants. That's the 13th defense against the 28th ranked offense. And I believe that the Lions are going to score enough to get, 8 points out of Prater or whatever. On the other side, I am high on Rodgers versus Houston, number 27 defense, number 22 pressure to the quarterback, and number 24 cover. I am low on Kelly versus Jacksonville. That's the Justin Jackson show, in my opinion. They are going against the 23 run defense, but just for stats, Kelly's been getting phased out. Justin Jackson had 15 attempts for 71 yards, 6 targets, and Justin Jackson only had 11 attempts for 29 yards and had 1 target.
Mm-hmm.
I'm high on Gurley versus Detroit. That's number 17 run defense. High on Julio versus Detroit. That's the number 24 defense, number 25 pressure to the quarterback, and 19 in coverage. He's going to be going against Amani Oruwariye, and he's allowed 42% completion. So that might be a tough matchup for him, but I think Julio is just good enough to still score. High on Odell versus Cincinnati. It's number 17 defense. Like I said about Gianna Smith and Tonyan, I'm low on both of those guys. Browns defense, that's kind of a meh for me. It's the number 15 defense against the 22 offense, so you don't really know what's going to happen there. I don't think they're going to get a shit ton of points, but they do have a high ceiling because they're going against the rookie quarterback. So, and then Younghoe Koo, Asians stick together. He's going to get a lot of points. So, yep, I picked myself 127 to 115.
All right, I'm also going with David on this one. This is a close one. I'm going to go by David by 3. I like the Carson Wentz matchups against the Giants. I think like we talked about, he's getting better every week. He needs some options. The Miles Sanders being out kind of hurts, but I mean he's going to throw the ball to Boston Scott anyway, so that's coming in. So I think this matchup and this week, I think that's a good streaming quarterback. Mixon. I think Mixon's going to have, if he plays, if he's healthy, I think he's going to have a big game. I think, Myles Garrett is going to tee off. Joe Burrows, I'm surprised he's still playing because he has gotten straight murdered in almost every game he has played several times. And Myles Garrett was invisible last week. He's going to come back this week. He's going to be all over Burrows. They're going to have to open that running game up. And I think this is a game. I mean, Mixon's been playing good, but I think Mixon has a big game. Same lines with what David said about Peterson. I think the Swift, not that it's a fluke, but I mean, a couple big plays is kind of stuff that. But I think Peterson has a good game. I like the Godwin matchup. I like that. Obviously, the Tyreek Hill matchup. On the tight end side for both sides, I'm not a fan of either one. I think if Geno Smith plays, I still don't think he puts up points, but maybe he hits. I don't think he even hits that 11 projection. I think maybe he hits 9. So unlike the past years, I mentioned it before, the Steelers D are notorious for giving up the middle tight ends wide open for years. I don't know how the fuck they did that. No one covered anybody. Not the case this year. So the most tight end has had is 7 receptions and 1 touchdown. So that Steelers defense is really good against tight ends. So I'm not a fan of really any of those tight ends. Same thing on Brandon's side with the Tanyan. I don't think he has as good as games he had a couple weeks ago. So especially with the flex and 2 tight ends, I'm not a fan of that. It's kind of wavering my side why I picked Dave. I think Claypool, like I said, they're going to open this up. They're going to throw the ball. I think Claypool has another big game. I like the Eagles defense. And again, Detroit's, they're going to score against Atlanta. And if they can't get in there, they're going to be kicking the field goals. He's going to make it. It's a solid start. On Brandon's side, I think Rodgers has a big game. He after what happened last week, I think he's going to come back against Houston and he's going to put up the numbers. Same thing. Josh Kelly. I'm not a fan of it. Todd Gurley, I am a fan of. We've talked about this before. They're opening big holes up for Todd Gurley. They are running the ball. They're taking some of that pressure away from Matt Ryan. They're getting more towards running it and less towards throwing it. They were throwing it before in situations where there's no need to throw it. So they're putting it all on Matt Ryan's shoulders, and that's slowly changing. So I like the Todd Gurley matchup. Same thing with Julio Jones. Now, up until today, Odell Beckham, I'd say that is dog shit. Put him on your fucking bench. Don't even put him back in. So I would put CeeDee Lamb in over him. But Landry is saying now that he's got a busted rib. I think everybody that played the Steelers last week has a busted fucking rib.
Mm-hmm.
So if he don't play, now I'm kicking Beckham up a little bit. But I'm just not a fan of Beckham's production, especially in this Cleveland offense. So he's had a couple good games, and otherwise he just kind of sits right there, maybe right at his projection, that 13. That's about his ceiling. Now, if Landry's not in, it goes up a little bit. But I think that flex and the tight ends, I mean, if Brandon changes some stuff around, throw CeeDee Lamb in there, I mean, that maybe it changes. But right now I'm going with Dave for 3.
All right. I was going to ask you where you thought Beckham was going to land on his projection, but you said it while you're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he lands at around 10. If Landry comes in, maybe it's his production around 15, 13, yeah. 15.
Right on. What? That's not the next. Oh, yeah, it is the next game. Sorry. The next game is the 4-2 shoe name versus the 3-3, allegedly 4-2. The 3-3 no fear. What do you guys got here?
Let's see. I've got Matt by 3. Let's see.
Let's go.
I've got, what did I write down? Like I said, my handwriting sucks, but let me look over at.
You have a number for your score?
No, I don't. I don't do a score.
Okay.
So what I don't like from JR's team is I don't like Boston Scott. I'm not a huge fan of Clyde Edwards-Helaire against Denver's rush defense. I do like Keenan Allen, like Mike Evans. Like I said before, I don't think there's a huge upside for Schultz. He'll probably be around projection every week. I do like the Chiefs defense in this one, but on the other side, I like Aaron Jones. I think that Green Bay is going to pretty much go out and drop a 38-40 on Houston. We just saw that Tennessee put up 46 on them. I do like I like Amari Cooper. I like Diggs. I like Waller's back. Samuel's starting to roll. He's got a pretty good receiving core this week. So I'm going Matt by 3. And I love the Bills versus the Jets.
All right, I'll go. I'm going Matt by 12. So I like that Kyler Murray. It's going to be a shootout. They're going to throw the ball. Obviously, I love the Aaron Jones matchup. The McKissick is, man, he's like a fly that you just can't go away for Gibson. I mean, he's getting touches he shouldn't really be getting. Like, just stick with Gibson, but he is. So, and they're going to continue on that route, whether they're just taking the workload off of him or whatever reason they have. So, I mean, I think he hits his projection. I'm going to say it again. I think Amari Cooper, as long as Dalton can get some time, he's bound to go to his bet. I think that's going to happen. Stephon Diggs, love it. The Waller, I love it. One thing to watch out here with the Waller is, for whatever COVID reasons, they have not practiced with their whole entire offensive line, the Raiders. So if they go into game time and they don't play with your whole entire starting offensive line, that can be trouble going against that defense. I cannot imagine. So that drops it way down. But as of right now, hopefully they're just not letting them practice, quarantine reasons, whatever they got going on. I like the Samuels matchup. I love the Bills against the Jets, and obviously Robbie Gould. On the other side, I think Russell Wilson, like I said, it's going to be a shootout. I actually think Arizona is going to pull out an upset against Seattle as far as we're talking football goes. I think they're going to pull out that win. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Clyde Edwards-Helaire against Denver. Who knows what they're going to do, Mixon and Bell with this too, to take a little bit out. They're going to test him. I don't think Bell plays a lot, but they're going to give him some carries, see what he does. I'm not a huge fan of the Boston Scott play. I mean, if Miles Sanders was in there against the Giants, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm a big Keenan Allen fan in general. I mean, Keenan Allen is a stud. And with this matchup, I like it. Mike Evans, I do not like it. So Mike Evans, in my opinion, is relying on touchdowns to score points. So his receptions are not there. Yes, he's injured. Yes, he's been, banged up, but he most of his points are coming off touchdowns. He has very few receptions. And with this matchup, I mean, it can be good, but I'm not feeling this one. Same thing with the Schultz and the Eric Ebron move. I thought he was going to do good. They're not throwing the ball to him. I think once they threw the ball to him that one game and he coughed it up 3 times, I mean, they ruled 2 of them that weren't a catch. One of them was a fumble. They pretty much started getting him out of the program. So, which is unusual. Ben loves his tight ends. So I don't think that's going to change. Now with Claypool stepping up, I don't think that changes the rest of the year. I do like the Kansas City against Denver, their defense. And I mean, not a huge fan of his kicker move there, but just because their offense struggles. But I'm going Matt by 12.
I also have Matt by 3. I have a 132 to 129. I like Murray against Seattle, number 7 defense, number 12 coverage. I think it is going to be a shootout. I have it wrote on the other side, but that's an over and under of 56. So there's going to be some ball thrown there. Jones against Houston. I like Jones, number 27 run defense he's going against. McKissick is a man for me with a high ceiling. I think he's going to be around his projection. The only reason I say that is going against Dallas, number 32 defense, number 30 run defense. But if you look back to week 6, McKissick had 8 attempts, 6 targets, and Gibson had 9 attempts, 5 targets. They're like, that's about as 50-50 as you can get. So it just depends on if he can bust one out or whatever. But Cooper, I'm high on based on the quarterback play. I agree with Mark, and kind of like what Joe was saying before is Dalton has to throw it somewhere. He has to throw it somewhere he can trust. I think Cooper is the most trustworthy person other than CeeDee Lamb. So Diggs I like against the Jets, number 7 defense, number 25 coverage. The Walrus I do like against Tampa Bay, even though they're number 3 defense, number 1 coverage team. I think that they're just going to have to move the ball by getting the ball out quick, and that's going to be the Walrus. Plus, I think he's a really good tight end. So Deebo Samuel's a man for me against New England. They're number 8 defense, number 3 coverage. We've said it before that New England takes away your number 1 option. And right now, other than Kittle, they're obviously going to take away Kittle, but they're going to try and filter it to Samuel. And I think for that reason, he does have a higher ceiling. But if you do look at New England's cornerbacks, J.C. Jackson is the 7th ranked cornerback in the league, and Jonathan Jones, their other cornerback, is the 15th ranked cornerback in the league. So they're not weak at all at cornerback. They actually have probably the best cornerbacks in the league as a whole squad. The Bills versus the Jets is a man for me, and the only reason is number 25 defense versus number 32 defense. The Bills just score a lot to win. That's just my opinion. And then Gold is going to be able to get field goals because they're playing against New England. I think their offense is going to be able to get to the red zone. They're just going to score with field goals. Like I said, on the other side, Wilson is a go for me. Edwards-Helaire versus Denver. That's number 1 defense. He is a man for me for the reason that you don't know what the bell usage is going to be, and he's going against a super tough defense. Boston Scott's the same thing. I know he's going to be the starting. Well, actually, they don't really know. Corey Clement might get some touches too, but if you watch him run the ball, it's definitely not the same as Miles Sanders. So we'll just go with that. Allen versus Jackson. That's a go for me. Number 38, number 28 defense, 22nd coverage. Mark is right about the Evans with relying on touchdowns. He did only have 2 targets last week. So I think he has a high ceiling for the fact that he's going against Las Vegas, the number 31 defense, number 31 coverage, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was just below his projection too. Schultz is the same thing that these guys said. He's kind of a no for me, a meh. I think he's not going to have a big game. He might be right around his projection, which is pretty low. I do like Ebron versus Tennessee, and the only reason is because Tennessee's defense has allowed points to tight end, number 21 defense, number 23 coverage. I know, like Mark said, that he kind of is getting phased out a little bit, but he did have 4 targets last week, and in my opinion, that's really all that you need for a tight end. I know he's in the flex, but still. And then the Chiefs versus Denver, number 19th defense versus 31 offense. I know that the Denver offense is struggling, so I do like that matchup. And then I agree with Mark with Bullock. That's a struggling offense. I think, though, that they will make it to the red zone enough, kind of like what I said with Gold, make it to the red zone enough to kick field goals. So, but I do have Matt 132 to 129. The next game is the 3-3 Fournettecated versus the 4-2 Consent Not Required.
All right, I'll go. I've got myself by 10. A little nervous this week, though. Marshall's team is rolling, and he's got a lot of guys back, and we did talk to Sean Watson's going haywire, but I'm hoping Green Bay plays good enough defense to at least keep him around that 25 to 28 point mark. I do not like Phillip Lindsay. Jimmy Graham's, and Hunter Henry, same thing. I'm not a big fan of the double tight end with those 2 guys. On the other side, of course, I like Mahomes, but with that said, I think they're going to tinker around a little bit with Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. Hopefully they don't tinker too much. I'd like to see him get back on like a nice 350-yard game. If Kareem Hunt does play and he's not too banged up, I like Kareem Hunt. I like Connor against Tennessee's defense. Michael Thomas is going to be my big hit or miss. He actually might just hit the pine just because he's hammy and ankle. So even if he does suit up, it might not be good. I do like Cole. Kelsey, of course, is a go for me. I had to plug in Latavius Murray because I made a trade with Johnny O to snag Chubb, give up Henderson. I actually didn't mind Henderson's play this week, even though it's Chicago's defense. I think his average per carry is pretty decent. I think he's going to pound it on him, but he might only get like 70, 80 yards, but it'll be up like 10 carries. But Latavius Murray, Carolina's got a pretty good rush defense, but I'm hoping that he can go in there and at least get me his projected of 9. Love the Bucks versus Vegas. They're coming off of a super great game against Green Bay. And of course, Crosby's a go. So I'm taking myself by 10.
All right. I'm going with Joe by 8. So pretty much Marshall's team, like I said they all got good matchups. I like about everybody, but same thing. Lindsey, so Gordon is going to play. He's not suspended yet, so he's going to take some carries away from Lindsey. We don't quite know what that'll look like. Lindsey played good, so Gordon has not necessarily played good. So, but he's still going to take some touches. That's the way it's going to be in that backfield until he gets suspended, if he gets suspended. And otherwise, Hunter Henry. I'm not a big fan of Hunter Henry in the flex, but a little bit of a lack of depth in his bench. I don't know that he has necessarily another option to play there. So, I mean, kind of hoping for the best. On Joe's side, all his matchups I think are good except for what he said, Michael Thomas. So it just came out now. He's not at the beginning of practice right now at all. So no, that's the start of practice, the media part of the practice. Maybe he'll be in the second part. Prior to this, going into not having a hamstring, I was projecting Michael Thomas for like 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. I thought he was just going to break it off this week. Now, if he plays with that lingering hamstring, I still think he has a big game, but I'm maybe going 75 and a touchdown if he plays. We'll see what the practice tails today and tomorrow. I like the Connor matchup. Again, I think they're going to throw the ball, but they're opening holes. He's hitting holes. He's looking good. Kareem Hunt, I love that matchup. So, and then I already talked about it. I think the Cole pickup on the waiver wire is a good play. I think Laviska's time is about up in Jacksonville. He's going to get some targets, but I think it's the Cole time. I think Cole and Chark both have good games this week. And I think Latavius Murray hits his projection. And I think the Bucks against the Raiders, especially if they have anybody in that offensive line not play, good night. So it is on. They're teeing up on them. So I'm going with Joe on this one.
I'll take it.
What was your points, Mark? I'm sorry. 12. Okay. All right. I have Joe by 0.1.
Ooh.
And the only reason is because I want Marshall to win this week. But I think Joe's going to win. So
how do you want Marshall to win this week? He's in your division.
Oh, I'm getting like second to last in my division. So the only thing I have going for me is this podcast in my life. So I'm rooting for the rest of my division now. Watson is a go for me against Green Bay. Carson, I do like against Arizona. It's number 19 defense, number 21 run defense. I think it was Joe that said he didn't like Lindsey at KC. I don't necessarily like Lindsey at KC. I think he does have a high ceiling, but he definitely has a low floor for the fact that that's probably going to be a low scoring game and KC's favored 9.5. So Lindsey probably won't get a lot of work, but if he does, I think he has the talent to break one. So Metcalf at Arizona is a go for me. I really like Metcalf, and he's probably going to get matched up with Drake or Patrick, and I think that he's significantly faster than him. So I think they're probably going to start out throwing a bunch of doink passes, try and set up the deep ball for Metcalf. So I think that's going to happen. Fuller, like I said, I really like the Watson Fuller stack. I don't really care who they play. Graham is a meh for me, and the only factor is that he's going against the Rams. That's the number 10 defense, number 8 coverage. Henry's always a go for me, especially because there's not a lot of tight ends out there, so I think he's one of the better tight ends that you can play, and he does have a favorable matchup against Jacksonville, number 28 defense, number 22 coverage. The Bears, they're such a good defense, but they're going against number 3 offense, so I don't know. I think they'll get minimal points. They'll probably be around their projection, 5 points. And Bucker, I think they're gonna score, so he's gonna get some field goals. Mahomes always a go for me. It doesn't matter who they play. I am high on Hunt against Cincinnati, number 21 run defense. Connor's a go for me, 21 defense, number 13 run defense. Thomas, I know Joe had said about Thomas, he might have to move him. If he is in the game, I think he's right around his projection. Let's see. Cole is a go for me. Number 22 defense, number 20 coverage. Kelsey's always a go. Murray, I actually do like Murray. He's going against the number 32 run defense. The Bucks, that's the number 3 defense versus number 15 offense. And Crosby's always a go for me. So I do have Joe by 0.1, 133.5 to 133.4. Moving on, we have the 5-1 tailor-made Kittle Dick versus the 4-2 Dagger Time.
All right. So Clint's on a roll. Clint's 5 in a row, playing well. I know that we like to give him shit because he had like the least amount of points or second least amount of points scored against his team. But with that said, that all changes this week. I have this as a beat down. I'm going Kilo by 16. I like pretty much everything on his side this week. I love Josh Allen versus the Jets. I like Kamara versus Carolina. Ronald Jones is going to keep his streak going. Devontae Adams will be second week back healthy. And like I said, they're going to look for some redemption. They're going to be rolling. Galladay seems to be the only option in Detroit because Marvin Jones is just a forgotten man. Gronk so-so. I do like Robert Woods. Packers D should have a pretty good day. He'll probably move Gostkowski. He picked him up for a bye week. I don't know if he's going to do anything different there or not, but either way, I like his matchups pretty much all the way down. Clint's rocking Justin Herbert, which is good. I like it. Zeke going against the front 7 on Washington with his line. I'm not liking it. Definitely not for projection. And like I said, I believe that they're going to try and toy around with Swift because Detroit is pretty much out of it. So they're going to try and start giving this guy about 15 carries a game to see if they can get some kind of production out of him. John Brown might have a decent week if he's healthy. The Jets D is horrible. Mike Williams, I'm not a big fan of. Like I said, that's his weakest spot is his receivers. I do like Lockett. I think that Arizona without Chandler Jones, the only person they have to pass rush is Budda Baker, their safety. They did it against Dallas and they got major success, but you can't do that against Seattle because Russell Wilson. You need safety help over the top with that receiving core. So I think they're gonna have all day to pass. Giants D, I like. They're actually, I think, number 6 overall in our fantasy league or something like that. So yeah, position rank 6. But with that said, he does not have the firepower this week. He's got a couple tough matchups. His best player, Zeke, is probably going to be the toughest matchup of the week. And plus, Kittle's going against New England. They've got great corners. They've got Stephon Gilmore. They can do all sorts of different things to line up with Kittle. So I'm going Kilo by 16.
All right, I'm also going with Kilo on this one. I think it'll be a little bit closer. I'm going to go with Kilo by 10. Pretty much Kilo's whole lineup. I love it, except for the Gronk. That's about the only one. I mean, if you take the Gronk out, I'm fully good with it. But yeah, Josh Allen, Buffalo, they're going to get up, but it's Buffalo. They're going to still throw the ball. They're going to do what KC does. They're going to get up. They could be up by, 31-10. And for whatever reason, they're still going to throw the ball. So that's going to happen. On the same side, I do like John Brown for that aspect, if he's healthy, because they're going to throw the ball. They're going to spread it apart. Kamara, I mean, against Carolina, against anybody really, but against Carolina, I like it. Rojo, the last few weeks we talked about it. It's just been hitting. And in the past, he's kind of just won that position by default because there's no other competition. And that's kind of where he was all year this year. Everybody else was hurt. There's competition there, but they're hurt. Now they're slowly coming back. Fournette's practiced 2 days. I mean, but he's kind of solidified it. I wouldn't have thought he would hit this role and do what he's doing, but he is. So if he continues on that, especially against the Raiders, I like it. Devontae Adams, we already talked about it. I think this is a little bit of a redemption week. He's gonna have a big week. No matter what, he's always getting open. I do love the Galladay matchup, especially against Atlanta. The Robert Woods, I'm a little bit iffy against Chicago. I mean, they're a good pass defense. I think more of it to go to Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. But as far as your flex position and looking what he's got on his bench, I'm with it. I agree with the Packers defense. I think that's great. And yeah, I know the projections there for Rick Skowski, but I wouldn't have faith in it. So especially, against the Steelers, I think you're gonna have to put up touchdowns. So maybe that'll help him, so you don't have to kick field goals and fucking shank him. But otherwise, I get him out of there. On Clint's side, yeah, I like the Justin. And same with Joe. I'm not a big fan of Zeke against Washington against their front, especially with the fumbles. They're gonna go after that ball, start punching it, man. Swift, he's no way he has the game that he had last week. I do think he gets some more touches, and they do start to give the ball to him, start to get him involved, but nothing to what he had last week. Again, like I said, I like the John Brown. I'm a little bit higher on Mike Williams. I do think he'll have a pretty good game against Jacksonville. I think he'll hit his projection about what it is. And Kittle, we already talked about it. New England's going to try to shut Kittle down. Now, you're never going to shut him down all the way, but they're going to go after him. I mean, if you look at his projection, it's 14.9. Usually he's kind of higher than that. But going against New England, there's enough weapons on defense that they're going to take him out of the game as much as they can. And the Giants D, you got to respect their D. I mean, their offense is horrible. They can't score a touchdown to save their lives. And yet their defense is ranked up there. I mean, they're on the field all the time, but you got to respect their defense. They're putting together a good defense. And yeah, in Arizona and Clint's kicker, I mean, it's a shootout. So he's going to put his points. He's going to hit his projection.
All right. Yeah. If Joe said that 16 is a beat down, I don't know what you call it. For mine, I have Kilo by 43.
Whoa!
I have Kilo 165 to 122. I think that this potentially is probably going to be the biggest score that we see this year. On Clint's side, I do like Herbert against Jacksonville, number 28 defense, 22 coverage. Same thing that Joe said with Zeke. I do like Zeke. I think he's a talented back. There's no denying that. Anyone that says anything different is fucking stupid. But Washington does have a good front seven. And if you're not scared of Dalton and you take away or you start smashing Dalton, you are just relying on Zeke. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you right now, all these Washington players, they are doing punching drills right fucking now, bro. They have been all week, and they're doing it till the fucking game. Motherfuckers are going to be Mike Tyson by the end of the week. I do disagree with Joe on the Swift, kind of like what Mark said. Now, I will say I do think he's going to get more touches, but I don't think he's going to have the game that he had last week. I don't like John Brown. He only had 3 targets last week. I haven't been high on Brown all year. I know he's been hurt, but I know that ball gets spread out there, but I don't like Brown. So that's just a personal preference. I do really like Mike Williams though. The guy, this motherfucker can jump, bro. He's got like a 10-foot vertical. This guy's catching anything that's thrown to him. He's going against Jacksonville, number 28 defense, number 22 coverage. Kittle, I think he has a high ceiling, but I think he also has a low floor for the fact that we've discussed already with New England taking away the number 1 option. Lockett, I like that whole offense, man. And they're going against Arizona, 19th defense, number 20 or number 17th coverage, but I still think they're going to get it done. The Giants D, this might be a little bit of bias and hoping. but I'm not high on it just because I think Wentz is going to light him up. But like I said, that might be a little bit of hoping, but it is the number 14th defense versus the 29th offense. And then Gonzalez in Seattle, I do kind of agree with what Mark said before, is that might be upset city. I think that they're going to score. On the other side, Allen against the Jets, that's number 18th defense, 25 coverage, high on him, high on Kamara against the number 32 run defense in Carolina. I do like Rojo in Las Vegas. I don't think I was ever going to say that, but against Las Vegas, that's the number 31 defense, 29th run defense. Adams is on a comeback, just like Joe said, against Houston. Galladay, if you go by Pro Fantasy Focus or whatever the fuck they're called, that's the number one advantageous wide receiver to cornerback. He's going to be going against Kendall Sheffield, and that's the worst ranked cornerback in the league. I do like Gronk versus Las Vegas if he's healthy. I think that the chemistry is coming back there. I don't think he's going to score a shit ton of points, but in this league, if your tight end gets 8 to 10 points, I'm happy with it. So I like that. Woods against Chicago is a meh for me. Like they said, number 4 defense, number 6 coverage. That's a good cover team. Packers is potentially a no for me, defense. And the reason being is that's going to be a shootout. And the more points you get scored on you, the lower your defense is going to be. But yeah, so other than the Woods and Packers, I like everything on Dagger Time's side. He has super advantageous matchups, like every single player. So yeah, I got the beat down, I guess. 165 to 122.
With Gronk too, since Howard did go out, his targets in the last 2 weeks were 6 and 8. So he is starting to definitely get some kind of chemistry going again. So that's pretty decent. And he's averaging 17 a catch and then 15 a catch his last 2 weeks. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, for me this year, especially the tight end spot, and actually it's been this way forever, but you guys know how it is. You have your 1, 2, and 3, and everyone else is a complete drop off. So
yeah,
if my tight end gets 8 points, 10 points, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, every other player, you want him to get 15 plus. Fuck. I had a tight end go for 0 last week. Give me 1 point. Right, I'm fucking happy with that shit.
Hey, side note, this is the first place matchup. We have first going against first, and we also have last going against last this week. So first place bowl, kilo, clean sweep.
Oh my God. I thought I didn't turn back the recording. I did. Let's see. The next game is the 2-4 CallofJeudy versus the 2-4 uncircumcised Chubb. Oh, is this the last game? Oh, no, it's not.
No, we got 2 more. I'm going to shorten mine up because it's getting late. I've got Sean by 7. So I like the Stafford versus Atlanta. Mike Davis, I'm actually a little down on. Remember, we talked New Orleans has 41 straight games without a 100-yard rusher. I know he's going to get some receptions in this game, but I think Teddy Bridgewater going back to New Orleans is going to struggle. I do like Robbie Anderson a little bit just because he's the main option down there. If anyone's going to catch deep balls, it's going to be Robbie Anderson. I do like Tyler Boyd against Cleveland. We talked Derrick Henry. You know, it's his toughest matchup probably of the year. Sean needs a goddamn defense. You better go find somebody again. On the other side of things, Johnny O, I do not like the Andy Dalton play this week. I do think he's going to do better than last week. And I think they're going to try and change the game scheme a little bit to give him a little bit more time, throw him a little bit more shotgun. Gibson, I think, is going to have his best game of the season against Dallas's defense. Gibson has, what was I looking at earlier? He has not had a game higher than 55 yards. That is going to change this week. He's going to have a minimum 85, probably a touchdown. Edmonds is and like I said, I'm going on a flyer, but I don't think McLaurin's going to get top 15. Crowder's a go. Don't care for Ingram. AJ Brown I like, just not against Pittsburgh. And then Steelers D is going to be pretty good against Tennessee, but just Tennessee puts up points. So I mean, Pittsburgh's not going to drop another 20 this week, but they're going to still be a projection or higher. But with that said, I've got Sean by 7.
All right. I'm gonna go with Sean too, and I'm gonna go by Sean by I'm gonna say 11. So I like the Stanford matchup. I like the David Johnson matchup actually against Green Bay. I'm with Joe on the Mike Davis. I think it slowly starts to drop off here and against New Orleans. I think he just falls short of his projection here. Robbie Anderson, again, I don't know. I don't think he quite hits his projection, but I think his targets are there. I do like Tyler Boyd. I think Cincinnati comes out as long as they can protect Joe Burrow. They're gonna throw the ball. They're after redemption from their game earlier this year. They want to win this. And if Baker Mayfield is still not playing well, or he's still got the rib injury, and they got some injuries on their offensive side, I think Cincinnati gets some chances to put up some points. And Derrick Henry, we already talked about Pittsburgh. He's going to get the volume and the touches, and he's bound to break one. So I still, even at 20 points, I think he can get it. He's going to see the end zone, I think. On the Johnny O side, not a huge fan of the Dalton, unless they can find ways to protect him and ways for him to drop off the ball. But we already know the coaches aren't making adjustments, so I don't see that really happening. I do think Gibson has a good game. I already talked about this, the Edmonds and the Kenyon Drake. Which one is it going to be this week? And Johnny's on that predicament of the pick, and I don't think either one of them have a huge game. I think they throw the ball a lot, so maybe it goes in Chase Edmonds' favor a little bit here. I already talked about it. Terry McLaurin, I'm all for it. Crowder, yeah. Evan Ingram, I think maybe this is the week he sees the end zone. AJ Brown, I'm a little bit higher than what Joe says because the Steelers' pass defense isn't the best, so we have to be able to get pressure against them to make that happen. But they're going to throw the ball a lot, and they're going to be keying on Derrick Henry, so it might change a little bit. I do agree with Joe on the Steelers' defense. They're not putting them points up. This is going to be probably a higher scoring game, but I'm still going with Sean on this one.
I got Sean by 10, 127 to 117. I like the Stafford matchup. I like the David Johnson matchup. I feel the same exact way about Davis against New Orleans. I am high on Anderson against New Orleans, and the reason being it's it's over under of 51, and New Orleans is favored by 7.5, so they're gonna throw the ball. Boyd, I'm high on. Once again, that's an over and under of 50.5, and Cleveland's projected to win. In week 6, Boyd did have 8 targets, 21% target share. I do like Noah Fant if he's healthy. The backup tight end last week had 6 targets and 26% target share. And they're projected to lose by 9.5. I do like Henry, stated before in the buy or sell, need a defense. On the other side, same thing. I'm not a huge fan of Dalton. I think he's going to get around his projection. That's number 9 defense, number 12 for pressure, and number 4 in coverage. So he's going to have a hard time there. I do really like Gibson against Dallas, number 30 run defense. I'm a meh on Edmonds or Drake against Seattle, but I actually believe in Drake a little bit more. McLaurin, I stayed in the buy and sell. I think that's a good game for him. Crowder, I'm a go. Ingram, I think that he's going to score. I think AJ Brown gets about his projection, but he does potentially have a high ceiling. That is the number 15th coverage, like Mark said. They don't struggle, but they're definitely not the best. I'm low on the Steelers defense just because it's the number 1 defense versus number 2 offense, and by that I mean they're probably going to hit around projection. And then I do like Lutz against Carolina. And then last but not least, we have the 3-3 Baby Shark versus the 2-4 Eskimo brothers.
All right. Mark, I pick you every week and you break my heart.
How do you think I feel?
Absolutely break my heart. And I said, I'm not picking Mark anymore. And then I looked at the matchups, and I'm going Mark by 8. I know. So
you told me last week
maybe
you never
quit fucking picking me. Maybe you're the goddamn problem.
Sorry. So I do like some of Tom's matchups. So I will say I like Matt Ryan.
Yep.
I actually do not care for Josh Jacobs versus Tampa Bay just because Tampa Bay's got a really stout D. I think Robinson has been coming down to reality the last couple of weeks, and I think he's going to stay there. He's not hitting 14 unless he gets a touchdown.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, I think he's having a little bit of a bounce back. I think he's probably around 17 this week. I know Fulgham's been hitting, but maybe projection. I do like the Austin Hooper pickup, though. I think they're trying to find ways to get Austin Hooper the ball the last like 3 or 4 weeks. Chark should have a pretty decent day. Sometimes, though, the Chargers defense can surprise people and they lock them up. So I do like the Patriots D, and everything in Dallas is a mess right now. I know it's Greg the leg, but it's a mess. On the other side, I think Big Ben's going for a big game this week. Again, Tennessee puts up points, but they also have a really spongy defense. So I think this is a week where Big Ben probably hits about 275 and 3 touchdowns. Montgomery, I think the Bears are going to try and control that pace. I think they're going to try and feed him. He's maybe at projection. Like Jackson, love Ridley. Andrews, you're going to do something with tight end. You know that. But, yeah, I'm liking D-Hop too in Seattle. I think that's going to be a high scoring game. Chicago's D is they'll hit projection if they get some sacks. But with that said, I've got Mark by 8.
All right, I'm also picking myself, but I'm going me by 2.5.
2.5.
Solid 2.5. So I do like his Matt Ryan waiver wire pickup. I think that was a good pickup. I was hoping he'd pick maybe a shittier QB, but didn't happen. That was a good pickup by Tom. I'm with Joe on the Josh Jacobs. So it's Tampa Bay, and just got an alert. They'd said all of the offensive linemen just got put on the COVID list.
Jesus.
So it didn't say COVID IR, but they all got put on the COVID list. So I'm guessing that means they are all not playing. And when your whole entire starting offensive line isn't playing, that cannot be good. So with those two things combined, I think he's below his projection. James Robinson, I agree. He's starting to come down now. So I think he falls a little bit below his projection here as well. I think Cooper Kupp has a good game. I think he hits a little bit higher than his projection. Travis, I mean, he's going against Bradbury probably too. I mean, now that they ruled out Alshon Jeffries, Bradbury's going to match up against him. So he always wants to go against the most physical wide receiver. So he's probably was going to match up against him anyway. So on the same hand, though, they really don't have anybody else to throw to. So that's why they're going to him. But as I say, he hits his projection. I think Cooper does above his projection. And I think Chark has a good game. I do like New England against San Francisco. On my side, yeah, I think Ben is throwing 3 touchdowns. That's I think all the Steelers wide receivers will probably maybe see. I think he'll spread it apart. So David Montgomery, get in the fucking end zone, for Christ's sakes. He's starting to have a little bit better vision. The guy has horrible vision. Must have blinders on. But find the end zone, for Christ's sakes. Justin Jackson, I like this matchup. I like Justin Jackson. He's going to take majority of the carries, I think, in this role. Calvin Ridley, I actually like when Julio's back. I think when Julio's back, it opens up Calvin Ridley. One of Calvin Ridley's biggest games was when Julio went out in the middle of the game. The other games where Julio was ruled out, it was totally different. He still put up the points, but they weren't there as a high ceiling. So I think with Julio in and the way they're going to throw this ball, I really like the Calvin Ridley matchup. I'm probably sticking with Deontay Johnson. I like that matchup. I like with Ben combo together. I'm going to try to stack something for once. I know I got to get a tight end. I threw a couple trades out, but I can't offer too much for a trade. It's 1 week, and I got Mark Andrews. So I kind of looked at people that maybe needed the depth, either for bye weeks or COVID or whatever. I didn't have the depth. And, I can't, like I said, I can't offer a lot, but I'm going to have to pull off the waiver wire, so I'm going to have to do something there. not really quite sure what I'm going to do. I've got a couple other options I've looked at. I love the Hopkins matchup. I think Hopkins has a huge game in this role. I think the Rams, because Chicago is going to try to keep the pace slow, they are going to run the ball. I don't think they could score a lot of points, so I do like the defense there. And yeah, the Giants can't seem to find the end zone, so keep kicking field goals. Hit them 50-yarders, bro.
Yeah, I have I have marked by 3, 126 to 123. I do like the Matt Ryan matchup. I was a meh on Jacobs versus Tampa Bay, but maybe I'm a no now after the information we've been given. Robinson's a meh for me against the Chargers. Cooper Kupp's a no for me against Chicago. Number 4 defense, number 6 coverage. I do like Fulgham against the Giants. That's 14th defense, 26 coverage. They no Ertz, no Goddard, so they got to throw it somewhere. I do like Hooper against Cincinnati. That's an over and under of 50.5, so they're going to throw the ball. I do like DJ Chark against the Chargers. Patriots versus San Francisco. That's the number 8 defense versus number 16th offense, so I like that. And then Greg the Leg. Yeah. On the other side, I like Roth against Tennessee. That's an over and under of 50.5. I think they're going to get a lot of touchdowns in that game. I think the over is going to hit on that. I am high on Montgomery against the Rams. It's number 20th run defense. I said what I said earlier about Jackson. I think that's going to be the play. I think he's going to have a really good game. I really like Ridley against Detroit, number 24 defense, number 19th coverage. He's going to be guarded by Jeffrey Okudah, and he's the second to last ranked cornerback. He has the second most advantageous matchup. I like Johnson versus Tennessee. He's going to replace Washington, and Washington had 7 targets, 32% target share last week. You need a tight end. Obviously, you'll do something. I like Hopkins in a high-scoring game. I like the Rams versus Chicago, number 10 defense versus 24 offense, and same thing about Gano. They're going to kick field goals, so I got marked by 3. Anyone got any come on mans? I know you got to go, Joe.
Yep, I got a couple. We'll bust through this pretty quick here. So I'm going to group a bunch of quarterbacks into one come on man real quick here, and then I got a few more. So this week, let's see. Baker Mayfield entered week 6 with the second worst quarterback rating when pressured. He was a 30.9. To make matters worse, on top of the defense, it leads the league in quarterback pressures and sacks. Mayfield was playing through a rib injury. He completed just 7 of 14 attempts at halftime, throwing 97 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Under constant stress during the game, he panicked when faced with pressure. He got sacked 4 times when they were down 31-7, so they benched him, probably to protect him as well. That game was over. Kirk Cousins, although his stat line in the game was 343 and 3 touchdowns, looked pretty decent. But in the first half, he threw 3 picks, and they all resulted in scoring drives for the Falcons. Put him down 33-7. Drew Lock. Broncos escaped week 6 with a win. Sure they did. But Lock almost single-handedly snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. So he made his first return from sprained AC joint. And let's see. It says, while the entire performance was awful, the fourth quarter was a special brand of an eyesore. They were leading 18-7 late in the fourth quarter, and Locke tossed his first interception of the season to New England. Let's see, yada, yada, yada. Well, anyway, he threw back-to-back picks. They had the ball with, I want to say it was like 3 minutes to go, 3-something to go. They were second down and I think short yardage. He tries to airmail it like 40 yards down the field and throws a pick, gives the ball back to New England when they were down 18-12. So bad move by Drew Lock. Aaron Rodgers, we all know how that story went. He finished 11 of 25, 128, 2 picks. And Teddy Bridgewater, let's see. He missed a wide open DJ Moore on an easy throw. If he hits his number 1 receiver, the Panthers are in position for a go-ahead score. After the turnover on downs, the defense got him the ball back right away with 92 seconds left, and he promptly throws a game-sealing pick. So he missed a wide open Moore, then comes back and hits a interception to seal the game. So for those guys, come on, man. not good in the clutch. They were supposed to be clutch quarterback, and the only one that won that game, I think, was Drew Lock. So horrible quarterback outing this week. Another one was Zeke said in the press after Dak went down that he feels he needs to take on leadership of this team. He needs to be more responsible. He's going to show all of his great leadership skills and get these guys a victory. Then he fumbles the fucking ball twice. So if that's stepping up, then fuck. Well, 3-13, winning the so come on, man. You got to do something better than that, Zeke. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So they were having a great game. It was raining out. They wanted to run the ball. He was showcasing his talent, especially late in the game. He was popping off 10, 12-yard runs. So they're trying to drive and hang on to this football and burn clock, and he runs out of bounds with like 2:30 to go. Typical rookie move. Yeah. Stopping the clock, man. Come on, man. You can't do that. And last but not least, so that Cowboys game, again, it seems like we're talking about the Cowboys and Cmon Mans every fucking week here, but they were down 28-3 and 5 minutes to go in the third, 6 to go in the third. And this great coach that we got that's going to help save this franchise and lines up for a 58-yard fucking field goal when you're down 28-3 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I mean, these decisions are beyond me. And of course we miss. I mean, you got to go. You're down 28-3. You can't move the football. You need to go for it. And you need to try and get a touchdown. And this dude lines up for a 50-yard field goal like it's going to be a fucking game changer. And we shank it. So more demoralizing, hey, missed that opportunity. So I don't blame the players right now when they say that these coaches don't know what the fuck they're doing, because listen, I thought maybe a year or two out of the game, he'd still be sharp, but it might have passed him up, bro. Come on, man. Sorry, Mike, you got to go.
Yeah, the year he spent out, he said he got super analytics. I don't know if you guys seen that video or whatever. Fat. He was like he's like made this fucking building off of his house and shit, and had like all these guys in and fucking did all the super analytics and all this bullshit, which is the way the game is going now. But you cannot tell me the analytics says that the percentage of making a 58-yard field goal is much higher than making it on fourth down. I don't remember what the yard or the yards they needed for, but even if it was 4th and 6,
don't care.
Yeah.
Even if you're 4th and 14, you know what? It's an opportunity to check your playbook and see what you got for a situation like that and see if you can make something work.
Yeah.
I mean, your chances of any 58-yard kick they got to be around the 20% mark in this league, if not lower.
Oh, I don't even think it's that high.
I mean, so real smart move there by Big Mike,
Yeah.
But whatever.
All right. Did you have anything, Mark?
No.
All right. We'll wrap that up. I know, Joe, you got to get going. So I appreciate you guys coming on this week. I'll get this out hopefully tonight before the game. So for Tacos Truck, I'm David Molly, co-host Joe Stevenson, and special guest Mark Sanderson. Thanks, guys.
See you, fellas.
Yeah.
Thanks.